Hey, happy Friday the 13th, everyone, and welcome to the weekly comic wrap up over here on my channel. So, normally, if you guys don't know, I normally do it with these gentlemen or this kind gentleman that I have today. Drew and Kyle work over at Comics Elite. They have a fantastic channel where they read anywhere between 30 to 50 comics a week, and they pretty much sum them up, do a whole review of each one of them. And what we've been doing is every Friday, we've been kind of going through some of the best, some of the worst, and breaking them down. So this week, we decided to have it on my channel. So, yeah, brother, thank you so much for coming over. I know Drew couldn't make it. So we have Kyle, not Kevin.
Exactly. You get the better brother here. So you guys are welcome.
Of course. And chat, thank you guys for being here tonight. Hey, look who it is. We got Mark McGrath, who's down with MVP. Even on my channel. We love it. Yeah. Kyle was contractually obligated to come on tonight. So
I couldn't get out of it. I
tried. He did. Jacob Ironside, what's going on, brother? MG, hello. Jay the Deep Minded, hello. Great to see you as well. Zaxx, what's up, brother? Shelby Loves, hello to you as well. Great to see you guys here. Oh, that would be kind of cool. You guys all need not Kevin shirts. That'd be great.
Good. I'm not talking to Sean about doing that. I'll make my own.
Or it should be like Kyle on the front and then on the back, not
Kevin.
Yeah, something like that.
I like that.
So before we get into, if you guys follow me here, like on my community page on YouTube or on Twitter, you guys will see that I've been posting a lot about this Spawn comic book. And so we're going to go over that tonight. We're also going to go over some of the best stuff that I read specifically, but also what these guys read as well. So before we get into the nitty gritty, though, what were like probably your top 3 and your worst 3 of this week?
Oh my God. I'm trying to think. I just finished up reading this coming week's stuff.
Oh, that's right. So you probably have it all.
Yeah, and so we haven't really read. So I'm trying to think. You're gonna have to refresh my memory as far as what came out.
That's true. Here, let's do this then. I will bring up the comics from this past week.
Please.
And we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these bad Larrys. Wonder Woman was the
I had a top 3. I only had a top 3.
That's right. And I think I had a top 2. Because you had read the Avengers one, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even get to it. Or as you would say, didn't read it. I heard this was rough. I know you guys read this one. That was rough.
Yes.
Wonder Woman was the love bombing.
Yes.
Batman and the Joker Deadly Duo, amazing.
Great, right?
Fucking. Oh wait, we're only 4 minutes in. Shoot, I can't curse yet. This was so good. Okay, so they're on issue 3. So chat, if you guys haven't been reading Batman and the Joker Deadly Duo, highly recommend. They're on issue 3 out of a 7-issue miniseries, so you guys could probably catch up. Every issue has been a hit. It continues to, I think you said it in the video, it almost looks like it gets better, right?
Exactly. Like he's building, like Mark Silvestri's doing such an amazing job. And with the art on top of that, like his paneling is just amazing. And
dude,
the detective part of the story, that's what gets me. Like that's like the heart and soul of Batman. And if you can do a legit like hardcore detective story and make it compelling and action packed, and what happens in this issue, I mean, it's like, holy hell, that double splash page of what happens.
Oh,
I mean, I was just like, oh, come on.
And I've got it right meow. So we're going to take a look at this in just a second. But yes, highest of recommendations this week specifically. So that one was fantastic. We also had, oh, hold on. Let me see. Let me go back here. In terms of top books, I would say Batman, Joker, Deadly Duo. I think you said the Lazarus Planet
Planet,
one. You
Alpha,
like
yeah.
that one, right?
And then Avengers. Those were my top 3.
Okay.
And
Where is
Drew
oh, here it
sprinkled in
is.
some of the bullshit because we didn't get Diamond. So
Oh,
I
that's right.
read like Nemesis. I just read. So a lot of the Image stuff. So I was catching up on all that. I didn't get a chance to read Gunslinger. I gotta pick that up and read that. So, but yeah, I just read Nemesis Reloaded. I wanted to
Okay.
hold off, so I read it this morning actually.
Oh, perfect. I read it. So I've got Nemesis right here, and then I've got Batman Joker right here. I've never read Nemesis before. I didn't even know what it was before it came out this week.
Oh,
I know. So this is my first introduction into it. That was freaking amazing, dude. I,
oh
I
man, you got to go back and read the first series.
okay.
It's only
I
4 issues.
really like this.
It's
Yeah,
only
that's
4.
right.
Yeah.
And they actually talk about that in the front page there. It's got Mark's kind of
Yeah, he's got a
introduction.
whole introduction with him working with Steve McNiven, which I still
Mhm.
think. I mean, Jorge Yemen, the art is good in this, but Steve McNiven is. I mean, Steve McNiven. I still think that art in the first series is better,
Okay.
but it's still. I mean, it's still top tier. So
I was gonna say I was digging the art in this. I that was actually why I think a huge part of this worked for me, at least this specifically, was because the art felt really um it was both clean and nasty at the same time. Like the
yes,
line work was really clean, but like the grittiness and the blood and like the just like him chopping people in half was super gritty.
yeah.
So I liked the art there. But here, let me see. That's not how you spell it. How did I? Mm, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I've seen this cover before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's first print issue 1. Um, yeah, I
Yeah,
have
Steve
some great.
McNiven
Mm-hmm.
is rad. Sorry, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, you're fine. So this was a book that Drew read and he told me I needed to read. He was just like, picture Batman as a villain, basically. If
Okay. Yeah,
Batman
yeah.
was a villain, and that's what this first one is. Like this guy that is so methodical and is 75 steps ahead of literally everybody on the planet. And I was just like, I can't get enough. Like, after issue 1, I was just like, I can't get enough.
I 100% agree. And I also agree with Mark McGrath here. Sylvester needs to do a Darkness mini next to bring Jackie back up in the running. Dude, if they did a Darkness with how Sylvester is writing and doing art currently, whoo, take
I'm
my
down.
money right now. Hell yeah.
I'm there.
Um, the last series was crazy, but holy, this new one kicked it up, dude.
Yeah,
Right?
the ending. Yeah.
Holy shit. And I know that you guys were almost about to do a video because at one point y'all were like, this is how you create a villain.
Yes.
You know, like this is how and I'll see if we can maybe bring that one up as well.
Hmm.
Um but is this guy evil or what?
I
He is nasty.
it is it's the right way to go about trying to send a message, I
Mhm.
guess. It's a fun, exciting way to be like, I mean, there's literally right off the bat, there are stakes to this book. I mean, and all it took was a single issue, and how I was so excited, and it was such a right way to go about doing it because there wasn't evil or malice in the sense that I'm going after cops because all cops are bad. It's no, what would happen if this evil villain was like, I will pay everybody on the planet an X amount of dollars to kill any cop. I mean, it's just like, holy hell. Like,
Well, yeah. And like you said, that's what, so for a criminal, what is in the way of them committing crimes?
yeah,
Law enforcement.
yeah,
So if you eliminate that, you can commit whatever, you can do whatever crime you want. And the thing is that Nemesis plays to the aspect of people are money hungry, people are self-serving, they are arrogant and conceited. So if you play to your respects and you play to my game, he's almost kind of like a jigsaw villain. Like when he
mhm,
has everyone in the pool and he's
yeah,
like,
oh yeah,
okay, like you guys can get out. The last one standing wins or whatever, but he still just
yeah.
takes the dude out.
I win, did I
Like,
win? Yeah, you won, all right.
you won, all right. Good job, buddy. Just goosh right in the head. Um, it's so the dialogue, and we've said this about Mark Millar before. The dialogue is on point. It sounds so right. It just rolls off the tongue. It's well written. It's well done. This dude has really intense motivations, so you believe him as a an enemy or as a criminal. Uh, and he's one of the best criminals out there. So you are afraid of what's going to happen next because of his intensity.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for him. Like, in the first series, I'm rooting for this guy, and he's doing like, he wants to kill every cop, and, like, it should be like, how dare this guy? Like, no, I'm not on your side, but I'm like, this guy's kinda badass. I'm kinda rooting for him. I kinda
You're
wanna
like,
see what
holy
does
shit, let's
next.
see if he can actually do it.
Yeah. Like, what's next? What's
Um,
gonna happen?
what's interesting too, though, about Nemesis is I feel like, and like I said, I haven't read the first series, so this is my first introduction. I feel like the introduction of him in the pool scene and him with all those crime lords, and he's also got the other individuals that like the second in command, if you will. And he's like, here's how we're gonna go about this. You see like how smart he is, like you were talking about. He's like a Batman because he knows how to leverage, he knows how to, he's always thinking like 3 steps ahead. Um, but you also see just kind of how truly awful he is, because like if he were a Punisher type, he would have just killed all those dudes, you know? Like
Right.
if I'm the Punisher, I'm just murking, I'm shooting all those guys in the head. I don't care. I just want them dead. Nemesis though wants to have fun with it. He wants to play and toy and, make them like suffer almost, which is just
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah, see, this one, there's a ticking clock element in the first one that is so just like the Sophie's choice that the guy has to make in it is absolutely diabolical. Like,
Mhm.
it is like, I don't even want to describe it to you because it is that, like, holy shit. And then, but there's also a ticking clock. This one, there's also a ticking clock, but it's very different.
Yeah.
And just the way he goes about everything, it is like, it's this flair, this gravitas he has to killing people. It's like, I'm just not going to kill you. I'm going to go about it in the most elaborate, most expensive way. I mean, it I just absolutely love it. Like, he
Yeah.
just, there's a fun, there's just, he's having fun with this character. You can
He
really,
really
I mean, you can feel it.
he really is. And like we were talking about with that first page where he kind of goes over the character, why he's interested in like kind of revisiting this character again. Um, you can tell he's really passionate about Nemesis. He even says in that first introduction, he's like, "It only ran for 4 issues. I'm bummed it only ran for 4 issues. I want to keep writing this guy, and so this gives me an opportunity to do that." So you can tell he's stoked about this.
Yeah, because how the first series ends, you're kind of led to believe it's like, oh, that's kind of the end. It's like,
Mm,
but is it? It might not be. It was an ambiguous cliff, hanger at the end. Kind of like, the Killing Joke sort of thing. Like, how is this ambiguous? What does this ending mean? Does Batman really kill the Joker? We don't really know what happens, but like that's kind of how the first series ends, and everyone's been waiting for something else, and I'm so glad we have it.
It has definitely gotten me to want to go back and read the original series, because if it's anything like this one, and from what it sounds like, it's even more intense.
Oh
I'm gonna love
yeah,
it.
and it's good. I mean, and what's good about this is, you know, there obviously wasn't the social media presence back then when you wrote the first series, so that, you know, bringing that into this was genius. It's brilliant. It makes perfect sense for this character to use social media and that platform to get your message across. It makes perfect sense.
100%. MG poses a good question though. He says Nemesis wasn't gay or trans. Why do people like him? I don't know. That's a good question, because normally what we see from the big two is that they lead with the character's identity or whatnot. But this one, they just led with, we're going to tell this dude's story. His sexuality means nothing. I don't even think I know his name.
Yeah, you don't.
Other than just Nemesis.
Yeah, in the first year, you never know who the guy is.
Perfect. I fucking love it.
He's like, and it is kind of like a Killing, where it's like he may tell you a story of what his backstory might be, but it's all complete bullshit. And it's like, you never know his name. He's just a guy that has billions of dollars and is bored and wants to kill people.
Dude, that's so rad. It's great. It also proves, like, you know, because we got Solo, that Han Solo story, Star Wars story, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No one wanted that, I don't think. At least I didn't. We don't need to know every excruciating detail about Han Solo. And I think same thing with Nemesis. I think if this goes on the way it's going, and we don't dive too much into his past, I think we can. I think it's gonna, you know, turn out to be really great, because I like the ambiguity. I like that kind of. I have no idea who this dude is, but he is, you know, fucked.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill a bunch of the top tier henchmen to bring in the second tier henchmen to say, hey, you're gonna work for me. I need you to do this thing. I just need you to show up here in this location and bring a bunch of guns. And then I'm gonna be like, no, I just needed you to carry all the guns in here for me. I
mean, yes, that's right. Oh my God, that's right.
That is so awesome.
It's so good. He's like, you guys thought that you were backup? Yeah, right. You guys are my extra ammo, motherfuckers.
That's so
so sinister and just so rad. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, really, really, really well done. Bravo, Nemesis. We got off on a tangent, but well deserved for that book. Flaccid says, I want to know everything about Han Solo. Everything. Flaccid, does that also mean if the curtains match the drapes? Is that also what you're talking about? Shelby, oh gosh. Okay. But yeah, so fantastic book, Batman the Joker Deadly Duo. You also said, I think that you had recommended the Avengers book because it felt very like Silver Age-y.
Oh yeah, because it takes
Bronze
place
Age-y.
Like, you know, the first few issues of Avengers. There's a whole side thing with Kang in this. Kang is awesome. What his motivation is around this and who he brings into the fight with this, it felt very timely. It felt like it made sense. It wasn't, let's put modern day sensibilities into characters from the 60s. It's no, we're going to keep it the 60s.
I like that a lot. That's even the art style seems to be very, you know, old school, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's a pretty simple story. It's the Avengers coming back, and then Kang is like, okay, I need to do something. How am I going to go about doing this? Oh, I have this item here that I could use to fight the Avengers with, and uses it in a very clever way. And it's just a long, drawn out fight, and it's awesome.
Hell yeah. And sometimes, like you said, I think some of the simplest comics are some of the best. It doesn't need super complex, intricate, threads, throughout. Sometimes it can be just as simple as like good guys, bad guys, fight, have a moral conclusion at the end. Cool, that's our book,
Keep it simple and stupid. No, it I think it varies on the character. You could do an entirely silent, I would believe, a Wolverine comic of where
Mm,
there is literally no dialogue because that character you don't need because you can pretty much draw anything you want as far as emotion with that character. But some others like a Kang, yeah, you probably need to have him pontificate. Same with Doctor Doom. There's just something about the gravitas and the ego that you need in the dialogue. But yeah, I just keep it simple.
yeah. Even Legion of Comics says close to second place was Lazarus Planet. I know that you had read that one, recommended it as well. Feels like everything Mark Waid is touching over at DC is like Batman and Robin, meh, but like World's Finest is literally on point every week. It hasn't had a bad one yet. So
Yeah, and I just read issue 11. So,
ooh,
mhm.
and we get do we get a little bit more of Mangog or whatever his name was?
Maybe.
Guess you'll have to find out.
know.
You also, what's going on, Salty? Good to see you, brother. Hashtag non-toxic masculinity. No, we're all toxic over here.
Oh,
It's
100%.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me pretty good because last week, if you guys go to Comics Elite's channel last week, and we did the comic wrap up for Friday over there, I asked them about Batman Joker Deadly Duo for this week because they had already read it, and this fucker goes, I don't know. It might not be in my top 10. I'm just like, you asshole. It turns out to be his number one of the week or whatever.
See,
so
I'm
it's
good
like-
at that. I have to do that. I got cards close to the chest.
To this day, whenever you guys are doing your Skippets and Mez, and Drew will say something like, all right, for my next skip it, I've got this one. And you go, wow. Like you're surprised. I still go, really? He didn't have that in his skip it's? I don't know why, but every time it gets me. Legion says world's finest is God tier. Absolutely. Absolutely. It was my best of 2022.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. I think you had yours was Ice Cream Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then do a power bomb. I think that was your number
so.
2. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It was up there.
Yeah. I mean, both were.
I think World's Finest was number 2.
Okay. Because I was going to say both, honestly, those top 3.
Yeah.
The top 5 were tough, man, for last year.
They were.
Let's see. Not Kevin does the best not spoilers. Yeah. That's true. That's true. He plays his cards close to the vest.
I'm good at it.
MG says, Kyle, did you read New Death Dealer yet? Yay or nay?
New Death. When did that come out?
Does it come out next week? MG, which issue of Death Dealer are you talking about?
Yeah, or did I miss one? Did we not get it 1 week?
Dr. Rachel says hashtag true masculinity. Amen.
That's
Amen.
nice. I like that.
Yeah. Chris Naples, what's going on, dude? He says, is this Avengers picking up from Timeless, or is that going to be another Avengers book?
That's another
I think
book. I don't think this is just a fun little story, little vignette they're doing.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to say Timeless looked really cool. I know you gave it high praises, but I don't think that they are intertwined with each other.
They're not. They both happen to be dealing with Kang because, I think he's going to be in a new Marvel movie coming out. So I think they got to push Kang as much as possible.
True. The true Kang, not whatever Kang this is. Yeah, MG, Death Dealer number 9 doesn't look like he comes out until next month. Death Dealer number 8 was meh.
I don't know if I read did I ever go back and read number? I don't think I went back and read number 8. I'm going to be completely lost.
Oh no. He's in hell. It's the same, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, masculinity. I like that. I like that. It's kind of like if I were to ask you a question, it's like
Yes,
masculinity,
the
right?
right way to say it. Yeah. Yep.
uh, okay, so we have gone over some of our best books of the week. We're about to go over some of the worst of the week,
Oh.
however. And then but before we get into that, did you have any pickups from this week? Did you have any books that you picked up that or any books that came in from CGC that you were like, hey, these are kind of cool? Anything that you'd want to show off?
I don't know if
I
showing
know
you
I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I forgot to see if you had
everything
grabbed
good
anything.
he took to the live sale going on.
Ooh, lame.
I know. But I did recently purchase a Ice Cream Man #1, a CGC 9.6 for
Ooh, very
I felt
nice.
like I had to it's had such an impact on me. I felt like, you know what? I need to own something cool from that. So I went ahead and picked one up, a 9.6 CGC copy of #1 first print. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
I think that's a good investment, even though, but like you said, with how impactful the series has been, especially as of late, like it's been killer. That's one of those books that like you display, and you remember it, and you're like, this series is like top notch,
Yeah. And people are gonna ask, what's that? I'll be like, oh, here.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Read this.
Prepare to have your mind blown.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah.
You kind of have to be in a pretty interesting headspace to get into the Ice Cream Man series, but once you get into it and you understand what it is, be ready to frickin' question all of reality and
Yep.
existence.
Your brain will be on the back wall and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and you're gonna enjoy it.
Yes, you will.
Working on a Nottingham #1, how expensive, but I got it on it. Oh yeah, that one's still pretty high because of the low print run, man.
Yeah. I have
Um,
one sitting in a box waiting to go out to get graded at some point.
there you go.
We'll see.
I won't spend too much. Zach says Flaccid has several pickups a week from the truck stop. That's how he picked up that rash. Thankfully, I don't have those type of pickups, but I would expect nothing less from our good friend Flaccid. He has to stay 100 yards from the ice cream man and an elementary school, right, Zach?
Yeah, huh? It's like that little girl from
Um,
Assault on Precinct 13. With the ice cream. Just get shot right in the head, dies.
oh my
Love it.
god,
Yeah.
that's right. Um, so I don't really have. I ordered a ton of stuff, but they're still in the mail, and they're very odd. They're a little bit more. They're Warhammer stuff, so it's like not as mainstream, but it's still really cool from the '90s. Pretty rare. But while those are waiting to get here, I found some Joe Mad artwork
Oh.
from Avenging Spider-Man, which looked pretty cool.
I like that.
And then it goes over into Savage Wolverine. I guess this
Nice.
was
Oh,
like
yeah.
2012 era.
I vaguely remember that. I remember the
Vaguely.
covers.
Yeah, this one's pretty sick.
Oh, yeah, the red.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Joe Mad's stuff is dope. Draws a beautiful Electra. So yeah, not too much this week. And then of course Nemesis and Batman and all that good stuff.
It's a solid
Um go ahead.
that's a
Sorry,
solid
what
week. That's a good week.
not too bad. Not
Yeah.
too bad. I still need to actually read these though. I was just looking at the art and I was just like, I could just look at this for hours.
That's fair.
I have a 1 second print signature remark, a bunch of original art. Whoa.
Whoa. From what we
MG
were
coming in.
told, I don't know how you track those guys down because them being on the road all the time and not being in the US, it's just like, yeah, they're never here. The fact that Drew and I were able to get the volume 1 with both their signatures on it, the writer and the artist, I was like, yeah, I'm picking this up.
Hell yeah.
These
Oh
dudes will
my
never
god.
show up.
Do you know where they are from originally?
I think they're Canadian.
Okay.
I think. I can't remember exactly where they're from, but yeah, they're like one of them's in a band, so we're touring all the time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
MG, yeah, you always come in clutch with some of the coolest art pieces. MG has an original, I think it's Gunslinger piece from Puppeteer Lee. Like,
Oh
dude,
yeah. Oh yeah, he's Canadian.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm Canadian, and he's got a website. Oh, he's got a website.
nice. We're going to have to compare Warhammer comics when you get yours. Ooh, fantastic, Jay. Can't wait. What up, Abomination AJ? What's happening? Good man. Good to see you, brother. I heard you were commissioning a 1/3 statue of Chesty Puller.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm not. But I am doing one of Dan Daly, Flaccid. So, Semper Fi. I'm just getting into some comic book reading. I'd like to read some Batman comics. Any recommendations to start with? Kyle, got anything for our good friend Jacob here?
Well, I think it depends on what type of stories you like, because it really varies. I guess if you want, more gritty, more fun and campy, you want more action. I mean, you could really start anywhere, really.
Yeah.
Anything in the 2000s with, the Jim Lee stuff. I mean, you could start with Housh. You could start with, Dark Knight Returns with Frank Miller. And if you like that, then you could go back and start reading some more there. You could read Nightfall. I mean, in the 90s. I mean,
Yeah.
it just depends on what type of Batman you like.
That's a good point. Jacob, I think if you want a more deconstructed Batman, you could obviously go for the Frank Miller. That's kind of where like deconstruction really started to pick up during that era. Capital Video says start with Batman year one.
Yep.
Great origin. I think Housh is just an overall fantastic Batman story. It's got everything. It's got great detective work, action, artwork, characters. You've got Poison Ivy, Superman, like everyone shows up.
Yeah.
Housh has got it all. I would also say Long Halloween is also really great as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, brother, you've got a ton of different options. I'd also go into some forums, see what other forums, like you get like obscure ones, like maybe Batman Venom or Arkham Asylum or something, and like those are gnarly. But if you want like quintessential Batman,
or any Elseworld stuff, if you, I mean, you can get really crazy with it if you want to get crazy with it.
Gotham by Gaslight or whatever it is.
I love Gotham by Gaslight. That was so cool.
So rad.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, hopefully that helps, Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we are going to move on. Are you cool with covering Spawn Unwanted Violence? Did you read that at all or no?
Sure. I mean, I read the highlights. I didn't feel after it was shown, I'm like, do I waste my time with this dog shit? Or because it's one of those books. So there's a book that I read that's coming out that I wanted to pre-tear. Like I wanted to rip it now. Like I still want to rip it. It's sitting right there and I want to rip the shit out of it.
Just looking at it.
Yeah. And I feel like this is going to be one of those books that I'm just like, am I just going to want to rip it before like I even get halfway through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one for me was so for those of you who didn't read this book, this came out this week called Spawn Unwanted Violence, written by Todd McFarlane. At least that's what it says. But you look at something like Gunslinger Spawn and you go, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. So I don't know if he has a ghostwriter for Gunslinger or if he's a ghostwriter for Unwanted Violence. But this thing was so blatantly dehumanizing towards a certain group of people. And so its ill will towards certain types of people was excruciatingly like not nuanced, essentially. It was beating you over the head with it the entire way through. It was pretty like people are going to come on here and go, "Oh, Max, you're pearl clutching." No, no, no. This was offensive as hell. And if you can't see the other side of the argument, then you're not being genuine. You're not being authentic. I've already had plenty of people comment on my, takes because I was pretty adamant about how terrible this thing was, and people were like, "Oh, well, that's comics have always been political," and I'm like, "That's not my argument here. We're not talking about
You
that."
stop saying the same old bullshit.
Yeah.
Comics have always been political, so they can say whatever they want. It's like, grow up. It's like, that's not what this means. It's not what we're saying. Like, listen to the words. And when you read a piece of shit story like this, that's clearly there to sensationalize and to get people to read a #1 issue or whatever he's trying to pull, whatever, because that's what Todd does. He's a salesman. So he's like, hey, bud, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put in a really crazy story here that no one's going to want to read. And then it's going to be so sensational. Everyone's going to want to read it. It's like that. And it feels like that's what he was trying to do.
Maybe he was going for shock value, because the first, to preface, there are 3 quote unquote villains within this book. The first one being a child graper and trafficker. That was the first. The second is an old rich white guy who's part of the medical industry, and the third one are cops, just cops. So he equates. This is what I get from the book. With the villains that he puts in this book, he's equating law enforcement to literal child traffickers. I don't know if other people saw that or not, but for me, when I read this thing, I was like, that's kind of what I see. So, like you said, it could be shock value.
People are talking about it. Would people have been talking about it otherwise? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. So it opens with George Floyd, like literally first page. We get credits, first page, George Floyd. It starts going into the biblical conception of, did God create man only to kill other men and other people? Spawn is questioning, are we put on this earth to only suffer? Why would a good God create mankind only to kill each other? It says, knowing we would taint our world, kill one another, God still created us anyway. And it's just a bunch of like Christian bashing, like, oh, if God is so omnipotent and omniscient and omnipresent, blah, blah.
If God is so good, why would he allow all this bad stuff to happen in the world? And another thing, I'll go back to that page.
Oh.
These straight lines on the cape, like, come on. That's not Spawn. Like that, if that were Todd doing that, could you imagine what that cape would look like? It'd be all flowy and creepy. If these are all evil, dastardly deeds being done, wouldn't you want it to make it look evil and menacing, like it's engulfing Spawn? Like you have the cape just like slowly trying to just like come around him and it's just taken over. It's like I would try to convey it a little different way as opposed to let's do these straight stupid lines and a cape that makes no sense.
Well, yeah, it would make sense from a storytelling perspective, visually. It would make sense if the cape was consuming him and the area, the space that like surrounded him, because it would mean evil is all consuming. Evil is surrounding every part of his being, all of the world. That's what that would signify if you wanted to get really like philosophical with it. But yeah, just I guess they just wanted
to
do
lazy
panels.
It's lazy art.
Potentially, yeah. I think it also may be just kind of the style of the artist, how he probably wanted to draw the cape for this.
Well, style sucks.
So it's very much so that common trope that most atheists tend to have. Why would a good God have evil things happen on earth? Like, why is that, the big question that everyone, why would a good God allow people to suffer? So already the writing is bad. The platitudes were met with empty platitudes of Christianity, religion, blah blah blah. Then Spawn goes to like a tracker. He like gets one of his guys. He goes to this like tracking system, and he's like, I need to find like the worst dude out there. Like we need to find like some of the worst people out there. So he finds this dude in Peru, 10 miles south of Lima. We see children in Peru, and these kind of mobsters come, snatch this kid up, yoink. They've come for the children again. We then get to this fat piece of shit who's rich and you know, just gluttonous. And I did not expect them. When I saw this panel, I was like, oh, holy shit, they're going there. Like they're actually insinuating, not just insinuating, they're showing what's going to happen right now.
That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Oh my.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a part of me that goes, okay, he's got balls for doing this.
Uh-huh.
But there's also a part of me where I'm like, there's a line and I don't want to see this. You know what I mean? I don't need to see this. You can insinuate it. Why do I need this panel right here?
Yeah, there was a Spawn book not too long ago where Spawn goes into a house and there's a basement and there's somebody chained up in the basement. It's a woman that's been chained up for a while. You can probably assume what's going on with a woman being chained up in a basement. Like you can, whatever assumption you want to lead to, you can probably figure it out. It's like there's subtle ways to do it without coming out and saying, hey, by the way, this is happening. We're going to show everything. It's like, I don't, yeah.
Yeah. So essentially this dude who I forget what his name is, Ghoul or Creep or something, doesn't matter. This guy wants to kill this child trafficker, rightfully so. And he goes, your head is mine. Like I'm basically gonna like you did to the other children, you know, he's antagonizing him. He's about to kill him. Spawn shows up though down here and he goes, walk away from this one. He tells this like freak, that's his name. He goes, I've got something more important for you. I'm sorry.
What's more important?
Yeah, sorry. Say that one more time again, Spawn. You've got something more important than a child trafficker? And
my ears deceive me. You said there's something more important. Oh, pray tell.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Todd's or Spawn's or whoever wrote this books, their moralistic values are completely have gone astray. If that's the case, if they are saying that, hey, you know what? I've got something better. It's like, no. This guy's the worst of the worst. Like you could take him out pretty quickly. Just kill him and move on to your next thing.
Yeah, Spawn's like, hey, after you're done with this guy, I got something more. I got something else I need you to do.
100%. Like, take this guy out. He's evil. Let's go to the next one. But he goes, let this fish go. You can catch him another time. He doubles down on it.
Let him commit another act, and then you can take care of him. Let him do one more.
Yeah. He fucking doubles down on this shit and is like, hey, you know what? We can get him another time. It's all right, buddy. Don't worry about it.
God. It's something.
It's
a hot take.
I guess so. So to be fair, as they're leaving, this child trafficker freak, he goes, you've got that backwards. I haven't begun with you. And next time I'll do it to your daughters. So he is now directing it specifically at Spawn. So Spawn turns around and goes, what did you say? Your evil has completely blinded you. So now that this evil dude has now directed it specifically at Spawn, Now he gets upset and is like, "Oh, okay, now I'll kill you."
Now it's bad.
Now it's
Okay.
bad.
Now it affects you
Jeez.
personally. Now it's a thing. Whereas
Right.
before, don't worry about it. Out of
Yeah,
sight,
yeah.
out of mind.
It's all good.
Although
But
it's
now
literally
if
an
it's your
instant fight.
daughters, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then he ends up taking them out.
Okay. What was the
Um,
point of that? It's like, what was the point? It ended with him dying anyway.
Great question. The whole comic, I had that thought. What's the point? Right? Like Spawn is barely in this. And when he is in this, I'm asking, okay, but why? Like, was there anything that needed to be told? What's this story leading up to? Why are we discussing this? Why
Yeah.
are these villains here? Um, so Freak, this ghouly thing is talking about cockroaches or something. Um, and Spawn says, like, I've got some important information I need you to go find, and I need you to go kill this other person. So for you to do that, you have to go to, I think this is Los Angeles. I don't know where it is. It looks like, yeah, that's for sure.
Or Portland or anywhere on the East or West
Chicago.
Coast. Yeah. Pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me say this before we get into this. Uh, this is pretty. It's not nuanced in any way, and it's out. This book is going to be outdated within the next year or two. But like what he could have done is done, a protest and maybe not had the exact lines Black Lives Matter in it, right?
Mhm.
Maybe he could have done a protest and had it been allegorical for those. But no, he just straight up puts it in here and is like, "Yep, that's what this is." So now we're living in modern day America. We're no longer in the Spawn universe. We're in modern day America.
Yep.
Um, and I meant to mention this at the beginning of the book, but something like this, which is more right leaning, I don't want to read this either. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
That's the big issue. I like Mike Barron. I like his stories. I did not. I was a cop. I did not like Thin Blue Line. It's
Exactly.
okay at best. I wasn't a fan of it, and it really wasn't all that political. Really, I mean, not as much as I thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
And then that, yeah, this private America. It's like I don't want to read that either. I really don't.
It it doesn't seem fun to me. It
No.
doesn't seem interesting. It seems like it's going to be pandering. It seems like it's only going to present one side of the argument. I don't need that. Why do I want to read that? That sounds boring. It sounds lame. It sounds uninspired. Same thing with this.
Right.
So I just want to
It's
preface
like he's pulling the same stuff that modern comics is pulling now with these active. It's like you're doing the same thing.
100%. Like if you're gonna make a book, if you're gonna make a comic, great. Do it however you want. But if you're going to preach about how these people are doing it wrong, so I'm gonna do it better, don't do what the other people are doing, but just in a different fashion. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think I just want to preface that though this is very heavy-handed, it's not because it's one side of the aisle. Yeah, maybe I don't agree with it, but I also don't agree with, going the other extreme side. There are things called subtext, nuance, there's allegory, there's underlying themes, so many different ways about going about it, and this isn't the right way to do
Yeah,
it.
they could have get woke, go broke. They could have, comics or boot. They could have all that stupid bullshit. It's like they could have all that on those signs and be protesting this shit. And it's just like, no, I don't want to see that either. It's like
Yeah.
it just unless there's. I'm just trying to think of a reason for it, specifically in a Spawn book.
A reason for this particular
Right.
outlook.
Right.
Yeah, it seems odd. Spawn should be fighting like, well, so here's the thing. This is why I think it's morally kind of bankrupt because he's like Spawn has always fought like criminals and evildoers and ghouls and things from hell, but now he's fighting the United States law enforcement.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, okay, so is Todd saying that law enforcement is just as bad as the criminals that Spawn has fought before? Like, maybe I'm looking too far into it, but for me, it just seems like, okay, why would you equate this to that?
It's a fair question if
So
he's posing it. He's putting it in his book, and they're
yes,
next to each other. So you're kind of led down that road of, so you think, or Spawn thinks, that all cops are bad and they all need to be killed, and or because they're cops, because these people deem it necessary, because they think, racism is horrible and cops are because of that, and all these cops only kill unarmed black people and it's horrible for our country and this is the only way to fix it. It's like, okay, is it the time or place for it, really? And
yeah,
but you have to present, if you're going to do that, it's like, present both sides and pose a question and then walk away.
perfect, perfect. Well said, and that's also a well executed like comic. If you're able to get people to think about your book years after it's been written, where it really makes you go like, what would I do in that situation, right? This doesn't do that. It's like this book specifically goes, cops bad, white man bad, America evil. Don't think about it. This is just what it is. And that to me seems really disingenuous and super divisive, very dehumanizing. Because if you're able to dehumanize an entire group of people, you don't have they don't have to have an argument anymore. They're not human. You know what I mean? And that's what's
Right.
scary about this book is I'm like, Jesus, man, he really went hard in the paint with how he portrayed these cops.
Yeah. Well, you're also portraying all of the protesters as if they all have the exact same
Yes.
beliefs. And you get them one on one, they are going to differ just as much as cops' opinions differ. They're
Yeah.
humans like everybody else. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a different viewpoint. So it's just
Yeah.
like, no, all of these protesters are good. All of these cops are bad. It's like, no, there's nuance to it. And therein lies your story, is
Yeah.
that gray area.
Well, could you imagine if he wrote a story about a cop who was like questioning, am I doing the right thing here? Or something like that. Or someone who's a protester that was like, this is getting out of control. I don't think that this should be like posing a question or making people think or having some sort of confrontation with these individuals that isn't just so surface level. Because like you said, like everyone in that crowd is going to have a different belief system about something. But he groups people together. So it's like if we're looking at this panel, all of them are not wearing masks. All of them are white. All of them have black hats on. But everyone who's on the other side, or sorry, did I say black hats? I meant red hats.
Red hats. I wonder why.
Yeah, right. But then everyone who's on the other side of the aisle, they all have masks on. This guy has a Spawn hat on because he's the right, Spawn's the good guy, you
Oh,
know.
he's putting,
Um,
okay, you're putting Spawn in your camp. Great.
yeah, it's like, okay, that's moral gray, but all right. He might as well be wearing a Punisher hat here.
Right.
Um, and then you can't make this up, dude. Thankfully, with such raw emotions laid bare, most gatherings remain peaceful
Said
until
CNN.
they aren't.
Oh god. I mean, this is as subtle as a gun. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, this is such a tired trope, and people, the majority of people are tired of seeing this shit and reading this
Yeah.
shit and looking at it and seeing this. It's like, and and a lot of people are tired of being put into, you're one camp. You're either here or you're here. That's it. Pick. It's like, no, a lot of people are, it's like, well, I kind of like this and I kind of agree with this and I really don't agree with that, and I can kind of see what you're getting at over there. And it's this where it's like, and of course, the peaceful Black Lives Matter protesters are the ones getting attacked with bottles. I find that very interesting. It's like, come on.
Yes, it's very like you said, there's no nuance to like what is this person's perspective? What is this person's point of view? It's just nope. These people are these people and this is how they think, and these people are these people and this is how they think. Um Kills an innocent woman, and it's a bottle, so like you said, it's the rioters. It's not the police, it's the other side of the rioters. And then we get the police. Dude, look at how the art portrays the cops. Like this is like the reds, even the color, the reds, the facial expression, the dominate, like the domineering aspect of like how they're drawn over the innocent rioters, you know.
And mounted police don't do that. I
Like
work a lot with
to
with
clear out something
yeah,
like
they
this.
don't do that. They form a barricade. Just like I was on I was on the bike team for the sheriff department here. I would not ride my bike into a bunch of protesters and start knocking them down. It's like, no. We were trained how to use them as barricades mostly.
Exactly.
So yeah, and just some rando. I would admit some cops just suck. 100%. I worked with them. Yes, I worked with cops that sucked, but there's also cops that are great. That's what we're getting
Yeah,
at.
absolutely, man. Same thing with the Marine Corps. And
Yeah.
that's why I love your opinion here, because especially with books like this where it portrays cops in this manner, I, I feel awful that you have to be portrayed like, or you don't have to be, but that people continue to do it. But it's like within the Marine Corps, I'd say like it's like the bell curve. You know, you've got your 10% at one side that's like top tier, epic god tier level Marines that are like the few, the proud. And then you've got like your bottom 10%, which are the shit bags, like the dudes who do drugs and you know, really awful stuff within the Marine Corps, money stuff. But then you get like the rest of the, you know, 80% of the Marine Corps, which are just general, your average,
Dudes.
like just dudes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's what's so frustrating about these books is that, and this stance is that that bell curve doesn't exist. All 100% of that bell curve is just evil.
Yeah. It's there again, no nuance. Like there's a story in here where you could tell it from a perspective of a protester and a law enforcement officer, and maybe he's got a shady past, maybe he did something and he's trying to atone for his sins, and the protester is kind of dragged to this thing, doesn't quite know what's going on, but kind of agrees, and then things get out of hand, and then the two meet, and it's like a spaghetti western standoff, and it's like,
Mm.
what are they going to do? And the cop is faced with a dilemma, like, can I put rounds on somebody or should I not? And am I going to be just, I don't know. There's just a million ways you could go about doing it. And this way it's, I don't
Yeah.
agree with it.
Well, there, like I would have respected him so much more. I don't think it's the actual act of putting the Black Lives Matter protests in the book. It's gonna date your book. It's poor writing. It's pandering. Whatever. Maybe I can get like past that. If I would respect him more if he had the protests in there, but like you said, maybe you have a standoff between a rioter and a cop, and the two of them have to come to a conclusion and go, you and I actually aren't so different, so why are we on two sides of the equation here? Like maybe there's some commonality between the two of them, or maybe the cop happens to be like a black man, and
Right.
and the rioter is a white guy. I don't know, just like something interesting or inspiring. This makes me feel disrespected as a reader because it's not well done. It's not well handled, and the material is just poorly written and dehumanizing.
Yeah. And it's like, I get like, it's supposed to be a lot and it's overwhelming and it's supposed to be this constant flux of emotion and you can't catch your breath. And like, that's kind of how this is written. That's kind of how it's to read. At least that's how I interpret it, and I get it. But like a story like this, and I think a story like, especially with Spawn, it's not that, well, dour ending, everybody sucks, the end. It's like, well, you need a little bit of glimmer of hope that maybe Spawn is thinking of like he needs to interject himself into a situation. He's watching these rioters, he's watching the cops, and he's like, he's under the assumption that, you know, one side is bad, one side is good, and then he feels like he needs to step in, but then he sees somebody, a cop, doing something like helping out a bystander who's who got knocked over by another cop, and like he's having to, you know, tell a partner to knock it off, and this person's dying. We need to get medics in here, something, and then you know, Spawn sees him and is like, wow, you know what? Maybe my opinion's wrong. Maybe not everybody's evil. Maybe I need to reevaluate. You know, some bullshit message. I don't know, but like there can be something in there.
Yeah, I like that a lot because ultimately, like we're trying to get to the case that Spawn should be the hero of the book,
right?
And if that's the case, then Spawn could see the two of them, or you know, both sides, like you said, a cop like kind of intervening and helping an individual up and being like, "Hey, are you okay? Let me get you some help. Do you need an ambulance?" Spawn sees that, and then he also sees the other side, and so he finally comes to the conclusion, gets his chains, wraps everyone up, and goes, this stops now, or something like, I don't know. Anything is honestly better than this. But yeah, no, chat, by the way, if I haven't gotten to your guys' comments, I see them. I haven't gotten a chance to react to them or respond to them though. But yeah, most of you guys are fantastic, and thank you for your input. I really appreciate what you guys have to say about this too. Yeah, that's also a good point too. Like, yeah, he was military, right? Prior military.
Yes, he was. Don't know. Don't ask.
Don't know. MG. Yeah, this is also like. So we're gonna get to more of the riot stuff because it's not over, by the way. Right. But yeah, I look back at like the child trafficking stuff. And you almost go like, did that happen too? Both of these things happen in this book, you know.
Yeah, like really close to each other.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently, yeah, this is definitely nobody after this. But yeah, no, apparently, pregnant Joker is much more off-putting to some people than this.
Yeah, cool, because that, like, you can sum up in one panel, and people can thumbnail that. This, it's like you kind of have to read it and get pissed off by it.
Yeah.
And continue to get pissed.
Because yeah, like if I were to just show a panel, like if I were to show,
you could show the protest panel, you could show that with the rioters.
If I showed this panel, most people would be like, "Oh, great comic."
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, wow, I love the representation. Like I love that they have current modern day values or something."
Is that Krakoa? Is that Marvel? Is that the X-Men?
Oh, wow. Yeah, too funny.
Mounted police don't do that. I mean, I worked with them downtown here. They don't do that. It's crowd control. They do not knock anybody down with the horse unless that person is trying to beat the hell out of a horse, which I don't know why you would. But if you did, then yes. But no, they do not just run into a massive amount of people.
Right.
Not here anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is so the panel reads, while in the streets of a giant city, a different trauma is on full display. Mother, tired from carrying her child, attempts to rest. And so these cops grab her because she's sitting there, and they just start dragging her away, and they say, "We need you out of here, ma'am, right now." And so because the little girl is afraid that she's going to be abandoned, Todd McFarlane says, combine that with limited visibility and the result can be heartbreaking, meaning that the cop on the horse didn't see her, so he kills her. Like the horse rears up and like knocks her on a car over the top of the other car. And then here's where, like I said, the dehumanizing part comes in, because everyone starts going, "Oh my God, it was a mother. She didn't do anything, or it was just a little girl. All she did, like here's the panel, just a damn cardboard sign." Oh, that who could say no to that? That to me is so harmful because, like, yes, of course, everyone agrees that no one wants to see uh, um, a child get injured. No one wants to see a child ripped from their parents. No one wants to see this. So why is Spawn letting some child trafficker at the beginning of the book? Why is he cool with it there, but somehow this on this panel, because the cops did it, now he shows up. Oh, okay. Who did this? He says. I'm just like, it seems like this is only meant, like I said, to divide. It's only meant to make people either think a certain way or divide individuals and being like, you're just bad if you believe this thing. I don't know, man. And to your point earlier, this could be shock value. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you really want to tell this story. Like you really want to get into the gritty of this, and you really want to try to divide people, and you really want to try to just piss a lot of people off. And for what? For a stupid Spawn book? Like
That,
really?
yeah. For a Spawn book that's going to last 2 issues, this is a 2-issue miniseries.
Yeah, and it was stupid. It's like the situation is dumb. Like that situation, I don't even know how that could happen or would happen. It's horrible that it did happen, but like the fact that you're trying to say who did this, and it's like, well, everyone's kind of to blame for this. You can't really pin that on a person. Or, I mean, they're all wrong. It's like, should she have been out there protesting in the first place with a child? Probably not.
That was also kind of my question, is like, I would never bring a child to a protest, especially one as polarizing as this one that was potentially going to be like, I've got statistics that we can look at later, and I'm not trying to sway people, but all I'm saying is just like, we know 3 years ago, I think now at this point,
Yeah.
at the time they were meant to be peaceful. It did not turn out that way, and I'm sure I wasn't there, so I'm not going to interject anything. But we have statistics, we have a lot of data, and from what we've seen, like, I don't know how bringing a child would have been a smart move. Maybe for them to see the cultural impact, but man, it doesn't seem smart. It doesn't seem realistic, and the story seems contrived and just really mean spirited.
Yes, 100%. And there's no way cops would separate a mother from her child first and foremost. And second,
Right?
it's like, granted, I never had to deal with the riots. I literally left in 2019, so right before all of this happened. So,
Yeah.
but from a law enforcement perspective, it is a very much a Kobayashi Maru unwinnable scenario that you're dealing with. And
Absolutely.
you get hotheads, which I work, there are hotheads in every situation, but there are hotheads. There are guys out there that like to fight. There are guys out there that are just looking for something to happen. There are guys out there that want something to happen. There are guys out there that may start something to happen just so they can get in fights. And those assholes should be reprimanded 100%. They should not
Yeah.
be out there. I worked with several of those. And but those are guys that when shit hit the fan, I want them on my side because
Yeah.
they're really good in a fight. And so then it's like, okay, I need you. I don't need you to start the fight. I just need you to win the fight.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Same. You've got guys who probably in law enforcement, and at least for me on my side of things, for military, like, you've got guys who are in your platoon who are really gonna get something done if you need like a machine gun emplacement to be like fortified, or you got guys who can lead a squad into a building, but you've also got guys that are the best at humanitarian efforts. You've got your guys who are going to be the best with kids, with women and children and families, and you're going to put those dudes on those places. But like you said, you've also got guys who you're like, if shit goes down, I want you right next to me because you're the dude who's going to look after me and also going to bring the heat if need be, like if something does happen. So yeah, it's yeah, I like this. Yeah, more like unwanted issue. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, very true.
That's the thing, dude. I almost spent this is another reason why I was like, oh, you motherfucker. I almost spent my hard-earned cash on this book. And I mean, I would have ripped it, but I pulled it and I went, Spawn. I love Gunslinger. I'm really digging King Spawn, really like Scorched. Let's check out this one. And I opened it and I was like, this is not what I asked for. So I would, for those who don't know, they're going to go buy this book and then they're going to open it and be like, this is not what I wanted or expected at all. So yeah, man, it's brutal.
Yeah, and why would you? And if you were on the other side of it's like, why would you want to see it anyway? It's like you really want to see this take place, and you really just want to fuel that fire in somebody that already feels like, all these institutions are out to get me, and it's like, I have a back against the wall, so I'm feeling like I'm being attacked. It's like, and then you want to read a book just emphasizing that. I'm just like, God, that is just awful.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head. It perpetuates hatred.
Yes.
It perpetuates the individuals who read this and who already take this stand or who already have this viewpoint, and they read this and it just fuels that fire and it just makes them angrier, and they probably go like, yeah, like those cops, I wish there was a Spawn to take out these cops, like fuck all these MAGA hat wearing protesters and fuck these cops and blah, blah. It only stirs up more hatred. And that's why this thing is so upsetting to me, because it doesn't seem to be done well. It's not written well, but it's also not smart. He does this like he puts this together like a caveman would put together like a rocks or something, like, or trying to build a fort. It's not nuanced, it's not intelligent, it's not well done or thoughtful at all. It's just, for me, it feels hateful. And I know people are gonna go like, oh, pearl clutching crybaby, and just fuck off. You don't
yeah, it's a go to
like,
hell. And this is old,
yeah,
like this is old news.
Why are we rehashing this? It's 2023.
Might as well be mixing with the Watergate scandal. Like, does anybody give a shit of Spawn hanging out at the Watergate Hotel and seeing people breaking in? It's like, no, nobody cares.
Could you imagine that's the next issue?
It's gonna turn into Department of Truth.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. Yeah. So we've got one more page of this god awful piece of crap. But he goes back to kind of the God aspect of things, because he talks about like, if the hope of making their voices be heard, the protesters, and if not their voices, what about their prayers? Though after centuries of suffering, millions gave into doubt that even God could not hear them. So now, if their God won't intervene, the faithful may need to put their hopes in the hands of another. So basically, Spawn is God now, because those who prayed to God, he didn't answer. So now he's here, and he checks the injured girl while simultaneously feeling his rage grow. You freeze, don't move a muscle, as all the white cops have him at gunpoint. And that's the end of the issue. And I don't know, do we get...
That was pretty close.
Say again?
Hey, I know if I was there and I saw this fucking freak show up, I'd have my gun out on him. So
I'm just saying, no matter what side you are on, left or right, if you see Spawn show up to a crime scene, I'm pretty sure you're gonna pull your gun.
I kind of will. You kind of have to.
Covered in chains and spikes and weird neon green glowy goo. Absolutely, I'm pulling my gun. I don't
And
know
there'd
what
be a
that
couple
thing
that
is.
would have non-lethal. There would be pepper ball guns. There would be
Mhm.
tasers. All kinds
Yep.
of stuff out there. So
Also, fantastic point, and thank you for your perspective. Because yeah, riot police are going to have different equipment than your regular beat cop or whatever, right?
oh yeah, and then you get the SWAT team out there. Yeah, oh yeah, they have all kinds of stuff. And then there'd be dogs too that would get these people to be like, get the hell out of here. We're gonna stick the dog out. Trust
Yeah.
me, when that dog is loose, when that calls on the radio that the dog's out, if you are anywhere in the vicinity of that dog, it's gonna bite your ass, and you do not want to be on that end.
uh, let's see here. Batman Spawn was a money grab. There was no story, only art, dude. Well,
Wait
that's
for the
why.
next one to come out. The gun. There's another. He put out another printing of just art, black and white.
Really
Yeah, I
interesting.
think it's like
Okay, I
Unloaded
didn't
or
know that.
something. I don't know what it is.
Huh. Um. Yeah. No, I didn't see that. I won't buy that one either. But I mean, yeah, Batman Spawn was a money grab for sure, and they just didn't put any work or interest into it. But yeah, I would love to see what that you were talking about. With the dogs, I would freaking love to see that go down, dude. That would be, whew, that'd be
Pretty cool.
something else. Those dogs are freaking heroes in and of themselves.
Oh, they will go into a house with a barricaded subject, and they will get that asshole out real damn quick.
Yeah, I believe it. The only interaction I've been on a couple ride-alongs, and I've watched cops. That's about as far as I go with my experience with law enforcement. But whenever I see those cops or LAPD or live PD, and they send out those dogs, those criminals, those tough, like, fucking try something, bitch. When they send a dog, like, I feel like those dudes turn into, okay, 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 I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, and so when I worked the jail, so when I first started out, when I got out of the academy, I worked the night jail nights,
Ooh,
6 p.m. to 6 a.m. You know,
oh my
I did
gosh.
my 12-hour shifts there, and so starting out, so you'd see the guys come in, and they'd be all
Ooh,
bandaged up, and it would be like,
yeah.
"What happened?" He's like, "Man, fucking dog bit my ass." I mean, his leg would be gone. It's awesome.
Damn, got him.
Yeah.
Got him. Just some rando says, by the way, I promise I'm not a troll. I'm always watching, liking, and commenting. Just saying, MVP. I may not love Kyle, but I always support you guys. Just some rando. Yeah, brother. I've been seeing you in the chat tonight. I appreciate your takes. I love that you're supporting us, man. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
Hey, my
that.
wife doesn't always love me either, so hey, you know what? That's everybody. I don't
Hey,
need to love
and
you. I like your opinion, and I like a different opinion. That's where learning happens.
mhm.
Anybody. So yeah, I love it.
I think diversity of thought is not a bad thing.
Nope.
I think it actually challenges us a lot of times. At least for me, it gives me an opportunity to like grow and actually be even more like intellectual about this stuff. Because like I actually can speak for both sides of an argument sometimes because like I have been challenged. So I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for the support. And yeah, I've had trolls in the chat before. I know what they look like. It, I don't I know that you're not trying to be that. So
I think that's
um say again.
I think that's from our chat. We get a lot of those. Shockingly,
Potentially.
we tend to make a lot of people upset.
I love your stuff, man. But then again, the only time I disagree with you guys is like I'm trying to think. Um what was one that I vehemently was like against? I can't think of anything that I was like really like, oh, that's totally wrong. But we do give each other a hard time about other than maybe like not having Death Dealer in your top 10 or whatever, but that we won't mention that.
And
Um
having Gunslinger in yours.
Well, now I'm totally not having Gunslinger in my top 10. After this bullshit, absolutely, Gunslinger is off my pull list. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
He's wrong on comics. X-Men is better than ever. And it is because they are unlikable, consequence-free, poorly written shells of a plant, people that will be rewritten soon. Truth Department, I appreciate you coming over to this channel, brother. I've seen you on Comics Elite Guys. Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. Are the X-Men going to be written by someone different? And if they do, how do you get them off of Krakoa? Like, how do you save them?
You nuke Krakoa.
Yes, you do.
And Mars. At this point, you got to blow up Mars too.
Oh yeah,
You're taking that over. So that's the only way to be sure.
Yeah. Slavic one says, "Did you guys know that Mags is writing a Nottingham one shot? How did she get the job?"
Please no.
That sounds awful.
There are very few sacred things. It's like you got to gatekeep. I mean, they do it. Why the hell? You got to gatekeep.
Yeah,
good stuff. It's like no, not let them in.
It's like a cook has just finished preparing like a beautiful dish, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go deliver this to the customer. No, I don't want anyone touching this or adding anything to this. This is perfect, just the way it is." And someone goes, I think it could use a little salt, and then just gives it to the person. It's like, I'm allergic to salt or I don't know. Yeah, you don't want people screwing with the stuff that's all just really good. And yeah, sometimes that means gatekeeping.
Yep.
I love you guys and need to be a featured guest because I'm a delusional knucklehead who thinks way too highly of himself.
I thought that was Drew.
Say again?
I thought that was Drew.
I was going to say, wait, are you saying that about us? Because Drew's not here, we'll just say it. He's talking about Drew.
It's definitely him.
Mr. Negative says Lazarus Planet was surprisingly good. That and Dark Ride were my favorites. Oh, interesting. Dark Ride had a really cool premise.
Yeah.
It's been kind of like that. Yeah. It's kind of like
good. Oh wow. Sorry.
Yeah. I think we'll have to look at it because in theory it looks awesome. In execution,
terrible.
Yeah, not what you were supposed to be getting.
Exact opposite.
MG says, "How dare you call bad comics? How dare you call bad comics bad, Kyle?" I
know it's a hot take. I know we have to say some books are bad, and I know from the big two, and I know that upsets a lot of people, but hey, I mean, if I'm buying these books, I want to be told if they're good or not before I go out and buy them.
Absolutely. I honestly think you guys do a fantastic service to the comic book like collecting and reading, more so the reading community, because there are comic book channels that will have, here are the keys that you guys need to collect for this week. I couldn't give two shits about keys that I need to pick up from the comic shop. I want to know what comes out that's like written well, that's going to be a great start to a new series, or maybe a series that I should start reading, or maybe a series I've never heard of before. And that's where you guys come in and do a fantastic job of introducing that stuff.
Well, thank you. Well, then that stuff, again, like I've said, Sean and Drew, or Sean and it would be a much better show because Sean comes at it with, the key factor. Sean comes at it with, I like this cover. It's a cover by, and that's what the show used to be. And that's good. That's fair. And Sean just has a different take on why a book is good or not.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine. But if I'm going to be on here, I am not going to shill and say, oh, hey, this bad idea book, Werewolf, it's really awesome. Even though they don't know how to panel a fucking book and print it out. But it's like, I can't do it.
Yeah. And that's called authenticity. It's something that many people don't have. I think also it's called good journalism. What a lot of journalists don't tend to have is they shill for something that they've never even read or that they don't even know about, where it's like, you guys read this shit and you have a take People can disagree, but you guys are putting out there what you think is best.
Right.
Um,
and that's what Sean wanted, and that's what Sean wants. And until that changes, that's what we're gonna do.
yeah, hell yeah. I mean, hell, he even said like, "Hey, rip this shit up if you think it's bad."
Yeah.
So this is a good. I starred this one. I thought this was a good question. Could you guys recommend any comics that take on this type of subject matter well? Um, I would say God Loves Man Kills from the X-Men.
Mhm.
I think it's like the first few panels you get a little girl killed,
Yeah.
or something to that effect. Look who it is. Look who it is. It takes courage to be honest, but it takes real courage to be hated. We got that. Thanks, Drew. Great to see you here, brother. I hope you're doing all right, man.
Hey, it's fine.
He, yeah, he's whatever. Um,
Yeah, I don't know what he means, but does it mean modern comics that take on the Black Lives Matter protest? I don't. What is? I guess I would need a little more.
yeah. In terms of modern comics, it looks like Drew says Batman One Dark Knight. That takes it on, maybe. Oh, Ollie is busy. Oh, I believe it, dude. Ollie
Yeah,
Garza is freaking fire.
it better be.
Yeah. Let's see. I would say God Loves Man Kills, Batman, One Dark Knight, One Dark Night. Is that what Drew said? I don't know. I
Well,
think
that was the jock.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The other thing is that the subject matter here is almost just strictly Black Lives Matter protest. If you're talking about protest in general, you could also read there's an issue by Mike Barron in the regular Punisher series where Punisher is the bodyguard for a guy who is an animal rights activist. And so you've got all these like animal rights people like picketing, and they're bombarding like the estate because they think that like this guy's an animal killer, an animal torturer, and stuff. And so there's a riot there. So like there are books that deal with riots, but I don't know if you're looking for like, hey, this is I want something that covers modern politics or modern sensibilities. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, anything modern, I would just say stay away from. I don't want either side. I don't want any of it.
Exactly.
And unless that's a bit. It's like I don't want it peppered in and sprinkled into every book I read.
Yeah.
Now, if your book is called Black Lives Matter and that's what your book is about, and that's exactly what your book's about, you can write about whatever the hell you want. But when you're sprinkling it into, Batman, it's kind of like Batman Fortress, where people are stealing things and Batman's like, all right, they deserve it. They can have this one. It's like, that's not Batman.
Right. Yeah. If you go into a book thinking you're going to get like this book, I thought I was going to get Spawn. I didn't get Spawn. If I pick up a book that's like you said, titled White People Bad, I'm probably not going to buy the book.
Right.
And if I read it, I should know what I'm like. I should expect what I'm getting from that book. So I don't know, man. I don't know if that answers the question or helps at all, but MG does pose a good point. I think we should probably go on to another book because I apologize. I've exhausted our efforts on that Spawn book. So
Thanks for fun.
Yeah, thanks for hanging in there with me.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read War Party? It was really an Indiegogo campaign.
I was originally never heard of War Party. Check it out though.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. Sounds interesting. Mark says Denny O'Neil was an activist who knew how to tell a good story. Ooh, on that note, Ann Nesenti and Mike Barron. There's a great video by the cartoonist kayfabe guys, and if you can find these 2 issues, I think I own one of them. I think I own the Punisher one. But Ann Nesenti wrote a Daredevil comic, and Mike Barron wrote a Punisher comic, and it's the same story from the two points of view. So Ann Nesenti wrote the Daredevil side of things, and Mike Barron wrote the Punisher side of things, both notoriously known for being left wing and right wing.
Yeah.
And they did the same story, but it was from two different perspectives. I think Ann is a better writer, but overall it was really cool. And I love both issues. And to be fair, I actually really like Ann Nesenti's take on Daredevil. So yeah, I mean, there's another great example of like, I don't agree with her, but she writes a fucking great Daredevil. What's up, Cajun?
You need to put yourself in every character.
That's the thing. Daredevil sounds like Daredevil more than he sounds like Ann Nesenti.
Weird that it can be done.
How odd. What a novel concept in 2023.
What are the odds?
So let's get to something that was super fucking dope and badass.
I love the mask the Joker's in. Like, I just absolutely love it.
Can we just address how fucking creepy it is when he opens the zippers on his mask?
Yeah, and the eyes are like bloodshot, and it's like, oh damn.
Yes. Oh
yeah.
my god.
I mean, look at his eyes.
Oh, it's so creepy. And I love it. And Batman has a stoic, you can see like his traps. He's super stoic, got the great cowl. Mark also does this thing where like he puts really, really dark circles into his eyes, so it's like sunken back too.
Yeah.
This is a great shot.
Perfect.
Just it's perfect. It's you can see the musculature through the cape. He's sitting intensely, but not like he doesn't want to be there. He's just wanting to get this over. Joker is just having the time of his life. He couldn't be happier.
Like, he's not intimidating in a sense, like he's really leaning in, like, all right, you're gonna. It's like, no, he's like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. Like,
here's the plan.
Yeah, here's the plan. I know I hate it, but I need you to help me out here.
And this is why I
fucking kill you.
And this is perfect. I audibly, when I read this, I was like, yes. I raised my hands. I was like, this is so good. Because he just simply, so how was your day? Like, it's just so creepy, and it's just twisting the knife. He's just being a little antagonistic, son of a bitch, and Batman just whacks him across the fucking face. Oh, so good, dude.
Perfect answer to that question.
He doesn't need to say anything. Just here's one straight to the jaw.
Yep. Especially after what happens to Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, damn. Like,
well, so yeah, we'll go there first. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. But yeah, love the mask, love the Batcave, love how we've got Nightwing and Alfred there. This is cool. This is almost like you said, this is detective work, right? He's looking at all the files. He's trying to determine how to kind of solve this riddle, if you will.
Yeah, because there's two people that are dying, and he has to pick which one, and he's kind of given, this is supposed to be the Joker's puzzle, and Batman's having to solve it. And he's got a ticking clock. He's got a few minutes left to figure out. Yeah. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, damn. I mean, he's obviously going to be able to save both of them. Clearly, it's, it's just like Batman Forever. No, he'll save them both.
Yeah. Batman was the perfect hero in this book. Absolutely. Well, I also really love this book. Like you said, or just some random, you said black and white. Each one of these issues has a black and white page in the back. I can't get enough of that stuff. Oh, MG, it's a key? I don't have my keys around me.
Key.
New bad guy? It's a key. Yes, it's a key. Is it? Yeah, I guess we do get a new bad guy, huh?
Oh yeah, at the end. The
eyeball.
Yeah, the eyeball guy.
Yeah, the new Nick Fury. So Batman has to answer this question of who needs to die.
Yeah, and it turns out they're both pieces of shit in their own
Yeah.
way. And then the Batman's like, got your answer. Both of them to die. And it's like, whoa,
Thinking
Batman wouldn't say that
right.
unless he
But he
had a
does it
way out.
unless he had a way out, and also because I think he was answering it to give himself time so that he could break the glass and then save the two.
Correct.
But his plan fails, which doesn't happen a lot, which I like to see.
Not when it's this high stakes, when it's involving two people's
Lives.
lives. It's like,
Yes.
oh yeah, his explosion. Oh yeah,
Oh,
it'll work. Uh-oh.
dude. Yeah.
I mean, look at that panel of him on the ground with it's just like,
Oh.
fuck.
Well, so you see him like I'm envisioning this in my head, and I'm watching or I'm looking at the panels, and I'm seeing how it's being played out, and you can just feel like the aggression, the sadness, the urgency, because I thought he was just going to break the glass, but it turns out this was like way harder to break than expected. So you really see him struggling here.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the ropes break and the thing goes off. And I love the red in the panel,
Yeah.
but also the red like on his face as he's screaming no. It's like, God damn, Mark Silvestri draws a perfect Batman.
Yeah, you can just assume that's all that the Sam Raimi blood coming up out of that. And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's like, and Batman was like, no, I got the answer right. So I'm going to have time. And I have this just in case I can break the glass. And if I have to
Yeah.
punch it a couple times, I still have time. And it's like, nope. It's like,
Nope. Yeah, dude.
I
So
was
gnarly.
shocked he went there. I really was. I was shocked that happened.
Me too. Because now, and this was also kind of going through my head, is I'm like, now he has to go back to the Batcave with 2 lives on his belt. You know, he's got to go back to the Batcave, continue to solve this case, knowing that 2 people just died. Like
Yeah.
that he could have tried to potentially say, like, it's just but that's Batman. He continues to do his detective work. He continues his job. He's got a job to do.
Yeah.
He can't let up.
And he has to work with the Joker, who's the biggest piece of shit ever. And it's like, and I need his help. I have to ask. It's like, I just saw 2 people die in front of me because it was supposed to be a riddle you were supposed to fucking solve.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah. You piece of shit were supposed to be there.
Yes.
And because you weren't, now I have to, now these lives are on me now.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, but that's the other thing too, is like, who thought that Mark Silvestri could write a compelling, well thought out, really well told story?
Yeah. Not me.
No, yeah, right. Maybe both Todd and Mark have ghostwriters that are just like, one's really awful and one's really great. I don't know.
Hey, you never know. Yeah,
we
so that
get
we know
this.
that thing is mutated and it's able to grow exponentially now.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell is this thing?
And this is what was kind of cool, because we find out later that the cells that are in this thing will actually also kill itself, because the bad cells will eat away at it's like the good cells will eat away at the bad cells if it's not fed correctly. And so what we find out is that this like villain character was actually using or going to try to use that for cancer research, that he was going to try and utilize it for testing to be able to kill off bad cancer cells.
Yep. Which is interesting.
Yes, very. Because it seems like he's got some revenge.
Possibly, yeah.
To enact. What were you saying this part?
I love this part.
I also like the dialogue between these
Bullock.
guys.
Bullock is awesome. He is written perfectly here.
He goes, yeah, that tracks. But more importantly, these guys really hate doors. And then, and then he goes, "Be a real shame if you were too." And he responds with, "You know what wouldn't be a real shame, Bennett, if you dialed back on the aftershave."
Yeah, see, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a perfect example. Silvestri wrote the very first issue that Batman knows that there are good cops and there are piece of shit cops in Gotham.
mhm,
And Bullock is one of the good ones. And a lot of these guys on the SWAT team are pieces of shit. Hence why Bullock is giving them shit. And so
yes.
it's like, this is a perfect example of you can have it both ways. You can have your cake, and if you want to eat it too, go right ahead with this amazing art. So it can be done.
With this dope ass art that, yeah, we see here, which is just
Oh, I
chilling.
love it. I love this.
No words, no dialogue, no need. You don't need dialogue here.
Nope.
You just need ambiance, right?
Yep. There's the eye.
Um, yeah, the eye.
It's
This okay, what do you
oh,
think this is? I I've no it's so creepy, but I'm wondering if it's like failed attempts at making these clone things.
I don't know.
Uh
It could be either
this like
way. You could see it as failed attempts. You could see it as these are bodies that are piling up, or these are, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. It could probably be seen either way.
But here's the page that makes you go
Ah,
like, "Holy shit, we're in it now." Um, because this is the question too. What are they getting ready for?
exactly. We have to look at our back. It's
Um,
like, what the fuck is this guy ripping heads off of people, put them
yeah,
on on pikes, and it's like it looks like they're well dressed people. So it's like, what is he doing?
yeah.
And there's an empty
Mind,
one right there. Notice that?
yeah. Oh, it says, "Mind the hair. This is a very special occasion, and we must all look our best." And yeah, like you said, there's an empty one here. Joker's, Batman's, Gordon's.
Gordon is captured right now. It could be him.
Yeah, who knows? Um, and this is where we kind of get some of the confrontation between him and the supposed villain. I liked this little line here, though. This is pretty cool. Bruce says, "When I was young, I would come here to grieve, to sit in my sadness. Now, when I come here, it's to remind me of my purpose." That's
Perfect.
dope.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Perfect. Just
That's
chef's
Batman.
kiss. Like that's Batman, dude.
That's
Yeah.
Batman.
Written so well. And yeah, this is kind of where he meets with Sims,
David
something
Sims or
Sims.
something Sims.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Sims,
Yes. Thank you.
aka Nick Fury.
Yeah. Corrupt Nick Fury.
Yes. And they're just talking back and forth about the bullshit about, hey, Wayne Industries did this, and my daughter, blah blah blah.
Yeah. He says, uh, that's where she lies or something like that because they're scum like the Joker, the police, Gotham's so-called protector, Batman. That scum is the cancer I'm fighting now, and I swear on my daughter's grave, that's the cancer I'm going to destroy. So this guy's got some sort of ulterior motive that's like bigger than him at this point.
Got a vendetta.
Yeah. I like his face. Mark's faces are freaking
Oh,
perfect as
so
well.
good. And he does lighting so well too.
Yeah, yeah. Just a little bit of lighting on the fireplace.
Yeah.
It's like it's not lighting up the entire library, it's just lighting him up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we already saw this. Um yeah, dude, the gimp mask is so creepy.
It is. It really is. It's perfect.
Yeah. 10-4, good buddy. This is going to be so awesome. Yeah, he's digging this. He loves it because
Oh
he gets to spend time with Batman.
yeah, it's his bud.
You
It's
know,
his pal.
yeah, this symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Um, but then I also like how when they drop from the um, bat plane,
Mm-hmm.
what would you want to call it?
It's a bat, the blackbird.
Yeah, there you
Looks a little.
go. Oh, this page,
I love
dude.
it.
Holy shit. When they drop, he's got the chains on him, so he's still chained up.
He's
And then Yeah, he's in handcuffs, and, like, Batman's got I'm thinking maybe he's got chain hook. Oh, no, that's just a parachute. Okay.
It'd be even
Um,
funnier if Joker didn't have a parachute. He just like kicked him out.
that would have been good. Yeah, okay, he's got the parachute. I thought maybe he didn't, but no, he's got the harness.
Yeah,
But yeah, his feet and his hands are freaking bound,
they're
so,
shackled. Yep.
yeah, Batman's not taking any chances. But yeah, dude, I mean, this is why you read the Mark Silvestri book.
Yes. That
This
money,
panel.
that hero shot. I mean, look at that.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so
freaking fantastic. I also like it because it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Too basic.
mm,
It's not every hero pose that I've ever seen. It's a little bit different. Like like he's a little off kilter. He's got the one knee. I don't know. Just it looks natural, but it doesn't look like done over and over again.
yeah,
Like,
I agree. It's not just copy and paste hero shot.
yeah, yeah. I'm also getting a little bit of David Finch vibes from this as well.
Mm, yeah, that's true. I agree.
Um, Batwing. That's right. I called it the Batplang.
Yeah, well,
Batwang was a fail from me. Let me take a look at that again. I mean,
it's a little
aerodynamically,
overdone. Like the Batmobile is a little much, and that it's like
yeah,
okay, like do you need 100 wings on that thing? Like
yeah.
it's a bit
It looks like
ostentatious.
it looks like it go-go gadgeted, transformed like all those different wings out, like
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I mean, that's all. It's excessive, but it's trying to be stylish, style over substance, maybe.
hey, it's something new. It works.
Yeah,
It's intimidating. If I saw that flying up, it's like, oh shit.
hell yeah.
Mhm.
I wouldn't know what the fuck that thing was. If I looked up in the sky and I saw that, I'd be like, okay, I'm going back inside because I don't want whatever is coming from
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
Um, so, and it's not like, um, if something like doesn't hit at all, it's like it's almost abrasive where you're like, that looks ugly. I almost didn't even notice it. I just thought, yeah, that makes sense for this world.
Yeah, it does. And I buy it. So
Yeah,
sure,
I'd buy that for $1.
I would.
And then yeah, we kind of get this last shot of not Nick Fury, um, who has just added Bruce to the list.
Bruce Vane has been added to the list of
Bruce Vane
evil people that need to be
taken out.
eviled. So that pike could be for Bruce Wayne.
That's the other thing.
He's a
Is it
rich white.
for
Look at a lot of rich whites, so he's another one.
yeah, is it Bruce, Batman, Joker, or Gordon? Or someone that hasn't even been introduced yet? We shall
That's
see.
also true.
Yeah. Are they gonna put the black and whites in here? No.
Oh,
Balls. Oh
lame.
well. Yeah. But yeah, no, overall, solid book. I think issue 2 might be my favorite so far. I can't say. Issue 1 was so solid. Um, but this one had a lot of great action too, a lot of ambiance, and
So I
so
said
yeah, I don't
everyone
know.
is now my new favorite. Like this is now my new favorite.
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how it's been for me.
Like you said, each one gets better with
Mhm.
time.
It's hard to do. Mark Wade has been able to do it, and especially, I mean, it's very rare when it gets better and better. But Mark Miller is able to do that sometimes with a lot of his stuff. So I just there's a few writers that know how to pace,
Yeah.
and they right now this is killing it. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. There are very few books that actually for the new year, I probably whittled my pull list down to about half of what it's been for 2020. So let me see if I can actually pull it up. Yeah, like I'm taking off Thor, Hulk, everything Spawn. I'm getting rid of all my Spawn.
Even Gunslinger?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Doesn't need to be there. I don't need to be lectured to by Todd.
But it's not in Gunslinger.
But it's what?
It's not in Gunslinger.
True. I may consider keeping Gunslinger.
You're just downright you're going scorched earth on him then. Okay.
I may have to do it after this book, man.
Damn.
It was brutal. For me at least, it was rough. I was getting to a point where I was like, if this is how Todd feels, then I don't need any of his shit.
Damn. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else?
I'm getting rid of all of Bad Idea. I've been reading more Bad Idea, and it just continues to flop.
Did you read this werewolf book?
I did. So I read these two. I read
the Spirit in the Wyoming, whatever.
Yeah, I read Werewolf. Here, I'll put us on the big screen here. I read Werewolf, and then this one came out this week called The Ends.
Oh.
These covers are gorgeous.
They're great.
They're all done by, I think, the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I read the one with the axe going into the dude's head.
Oh, yeah, I hated that.
They're all terrible. Something like
they're
that.
all terrible. They're all diabolic. I don't know.
Yeah. So read that one. Read Escape from Wyoming. Read Orc Island. The only one that's redeemable is Escape from Wyoming, and because it's Robert Venditti. But yeah, all these are pretty garbage tier. Like, so I'm getting rid of all my Bad Idea stuff. I'm also getting rid of Berserker. Does not need to be there.
Wow. Wait, isn't there like one left of Berserker?
Oh, is there? I thought it was like an ongoing.
I thought it was only like a 12-issue something or other.
Oh. Well, then maybe I'll collect the whole thing, yeah.
Oh, maybe not.
I don't know.
I thought it was a limited thing. I don't
know. Yeah, MG says I'm 17 covers away from a full Spawn run. Holy shit, MG, that's awesome, dude. If Spawn turns into what happened in Unwanted Violence, however, I'm fucking done. Yeah, dude, I see, that's the thing, is like, as long as this doesn't permeate into the main titles, sure. But that's why I'm wondering about like Gunslinger. Like, there's no way he's writing that.
I've said it from the beginning. He's not writing it. So
yeah. MG says Todd ain't writing Gunslinger.
No way. I will take that to my grave.
Yeah,
he can take it to his grave that he did. So
yeah, God dang. I think Todd's now gonna have to become one of those creators that is one of those things where it's like, I have to separate art from artist, right? I don't know if this is something that he wants to continue to do. I might just have to be like, your art is beautiful, your storytelling is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I'll finish up with Berserker then. I did not know that. Thanks, guys.
That thing's fallen like a brick, but
that's why I was gonna get rid of it, because I was like, I don't know what's left to tell, really.
That he's evil.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Gray? Happy birthday to you, brother. He said, thanks for your message in my birthday stream. It was great to see you. It's great to see you too, man. Thanks for being here, and thanks for coming by. Hopefully you had a fantastic birthday.
Happy birthday.
I sent Berserker 1 in 1,000. Wow, they damaged it. No.
How could they not verify the signature? That's the point of CBCS, to have verified signatures. Graded a 5.5.
That's a bad damaged book too. That's not like
really bad damaged book.
That's not like a 9.8 or like a maybe it was like a 9.6 or a 9.4 to like a 9.0.
Yeah, like, you know, you get a little corner scuffed or something, like that's like ripping your book in half and being like, it fell. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. You got like thousands of spine ticks and color rubs on the thing from us touching it.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves must have like shot it with something while he was signing it. I don't know what happened.
Damn, yeah. We really need to remember after issue 25 of Spawn, his writing went downhill. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. I,
Yeah.
I think Zach, your boy Zach, is actually doing a read through. He's actually going back and reading some of the old Spawn back issues.
Oh yeah, I saw some reviews.
Yeah, I wonder if that would be something that would be worthwhile because I would have to look back at that again and go like, was this really actually that great?
I'm gonna say yes.
You would say yes. Okay. His last couple covers have been questionable. Oh, dude, the Batman Spawn cover from McFarlane was freaking
It was a
low
fucking joke.
F tier
Yes.
level cover.
That was
He
something
was
he whipped up in 5 minutes because he didn't give a fuck because they're buying this book anyway. I can put literally anything on this cover and they will buy it. Like
as long
me.
as it's got McFarlane on there, people are gonna buy it.
Correct.
Art creates a life of its own. A piece of art lives on after the artist lets it go. Art creates a life of its own. A piece of art lives on after the artist lets it go. I think that is why so many fans get connected to art because you know there are arguments that some people would say that once the art gets into the hands of a fan, it's no longer the artist at that point because the fan is now like it's like the fans but it's still the artist's creation. Like there's so many different ways of like looking at it. I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with that. I definitely agree that art creates a life of its own because we've seen artists, uh, like painters, paint beautiful pieces of art, and then they pass away and don't actually get their notoriety until after they're dead, which would be so sad. But
True.
yeah, so that makes
Starving
sense. I
artists
mean,
for a reason.
100%. Yeah. So I mean, makes sense.
I agree.
MG says it was a 9.6 when I sent it at worst. I'm baffled. Damn, dude.
Everybody says their book's a 9.6 or a 9.8. All right.
You know what?
Spine ticks and a spine split.
Yeah.
Tape on the cover. It's a 9.
You're looking at it. Yeah, I'd give it a 9.6.
Yeah.
9.6.
At least.
9.8. Yeah. I'd be surprised if it doesn't come back a 9.8.
I'll be pissed. Their fault.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least like when you get I like your books that come back because some of them are just for your PC and you're like, this is gonna be like a 5.0. I'll be happy if it's a 5.0 or higher. Like
Yeah.
there are some books that I have that I'm like that as well.
Yeah, there's just some I want to own. Like
Mhm.
I have a Captain America 100 in there. I have an Iron Man #1 in there. It's enough to get graded. I have a
Oh,
Fantastic
shit.
Four 49, 50, 51. It's
Oh,
like
my favorite.
it's like they're not high grades by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't care. Like
Yeah, yeah.
just to own them is awesome in and of itself. And then plus they're also books that I've had before and have sold, and now buying them again at much higher prices. So
The Fantastic Four 49 or 48, 49, 50, maybe even 51. That's got to be the trilogy of all books. I think right there. You get introduced to Silver Surfer. What's up?
yeah, those are the covers that I mean that run right there. It's like iconic Jack Kirby covers.
It's perfect. And the story is so great. And you get probably some of the best Marvel characters created by Stan at the time, which was Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, and Galactus. And they're so iconic. You recognize them right away. You even get the Watcher. Like it's a Watcher level event.
That is
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That one's signed by Stan.
Oh damn. Yeah, those books are so badass, man. That would probably be, I think, to have those and to have a Hulk 181 would probably be like probably would make my collection whole at that point.
Yeah, there are a few. I'm still have my eye on a couple.
What do you have a grail that you don't have?
I don't know if I have a grail, but I definitely have books that See, my collection's weird. Some stuff, it's like I really like to have signed stuff. And
Yeah.
like that Batman 608 second print I got, it wasn't a
Oh
grail,
yeah.
but I wanted that and I wanted it signed by Jim and I wanted it personalized so I wouldn't sell it. But like
Yeah.
it's yeah, Hulk 181 is definitely up. That's one book that I would Giant Size X-Men #1 is another book
Yes.
that I would
That's
just
another one.
love to just look at and have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's another fantastic cover. Sorry, my little cat feeder's going off for my little guy. I know how much you love cats.
I love them. Great creatures.
Great pets. They
Yeah.
just love you unconditionally.
They won't try to kill you at all.
No. Yeah, I think Giant Size X-Men would be great. The Trinity of books, the Fantastic Four books would be awesome. Hulk 181 is classic because you've got that bright red cover with the yellow of Wolverine. Great contrasting colors. What's another? I would say that some people would want like Spider-Man, like or Amazing Fantasy or a Spider-Man 300 or something like that.
Yeah,
Those
like
are also big ones.
an ASM 300. Sean has one right there. It's a 9.4.
Oh yeah, there you go.
But like, I had one and I sold it. Like I had a New Mutants 98, sold it. I actually had ASM 298, 299, 300 because I wanted all three signed by Todd at one point, but then I sold all of them. Yeah, New Mutants 98 and I'm trying to think of some other things that it's just like, yeah, I have, but then it's like, okay, if I keep these books, do I want to then use them to buy another book that I want?
Yeah. It's almost kind of like that. Yeah, the hobby feeds itself almost.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can trade up. I've always been really bad at that. I never really understood how to do it. Or like I never really understood the quality of the book or like what type of books I need to be looking for. So I'm not really good at that. But I know that some guys are just experts.
Yeah. There's some that are just really good at flipping stuff and they know. Yeah.
They know how to trade. Or they know how to fund the hobby through books. Yeah. I do not have any of the original, the OG Watchmen issues. Do you have any?
I had all of them at one point, not anymore.
Ooh, nice.
Again, that was stuff that I would collect because you could find those. They're all over the place. They weren't high grade, but grade. I am not a grade snob. I don't care. Like, would it be nice to have a 9 and above in some of these old Silver Age books? Yeah, but I'm not spending $5,000 on a book. Like, would it be nice to eventually get to that point? Yes, it would, but
sure,
I'm not going to get to that point probably. So I can enjoy Sean buying them and I can look at them on his shelf.
Yeah, absolutely. I think too, you could probably find a raw book for hopefully cheaper that then you can maybe have graded and like do it that way. For me, I used to really be into graded books. Now I'm super into raw books because like I love flipping through them. Like I don't even need to read it. I just want to look at it, feel it, read through it or look through it. So I'm really trying to find more like raw books, but sometimes the raw books are just as expensive as the graded ones. So kind of shitty.
Yeah, I was looking at the first appearance of Guy Gardner because he's a character that I really like. And his first appearance, that book is not cheap. And there's just some big, and I don't necessarily like, I do like certain characters, but like there's some key books that I just like if I like the cover or I would like an old first print of like Tales from the Crypt. Like
ooh, that would be cool.
Some old school pre-code horror. I don't necessarily care so much about the gray, but those books, I mean, you could get a a 0.5 with no fucking cover attached to it, and it's like $3,000. It's like
it's like, why? Yeah.
yeah, because they're so scarce. There's like 20 of them out there on the CGC census or something, and it's like I would, but to have an old Tales from the Crypt book would be really cool because I love those old horror covers.
I was about to say, sometimes, like, I've seen old old like Marine Corps books, or older Fantastic Four books, like Golden Age stuff, that's just the cover. Like, I'll see it on eBay and they're selling like just the cover, because the rest of the book probably got thrown away somewhere. And even that's still really expensive. But yeah, some of those you just want for the cover, because they're gorgeous, and it's such a great um such a great what's the word I'm looking for? Like a display,
Yeah,
to
it's
have
a
that
piece
up
of
on the wall.
history. It's like I would.
Yeah.
I just want the history around it.
It's art. I mean,
Mhm.
as pretentious as that sounds, like, I don't want to be an art snob, but yeah, no, it's art. Like you said, it's a piece of history. It's something that has been preserved, something that someone put time into for other people to enjoy, an art form that has lived out through years, or decades at this point. So yeah.
Mhm.
MG says Gunslinger was amazing. Unwanted Violence is a hard no. Didn't read Gunslinger this week. So, did you read it?
No, we
Oh,
never got
okay.
it. It's one of those. If we
Oh,
don't get
yeah.
it, because then I'm like I'm already reading next week's books. So like generally at that point, so I'm having to go back and
You're
reread. And I'm just like
yeah.
I have to do it when it. So normally, next time Gunslinger comes out, I will then go on and read online the last issue.
Smart.
That's when I have to do it.
Smart. Because yeah, then you can kind of marathon it, read both back to back or whatnot.
Right.
Oh, this sounds kind of cool. I've been trying to find Gold Key, the Twilight Zone comics, for display purposes.
Yeah, some of those
I
gold
didn't
are pretty cool books.
I don't even know if I've heard of that. That sounds dope as hell. I'm a
Mhm.
huge Twilight Zone fan, so
Yeah,
um
yeah, the Gold Key put out a lot of that stuff from that era.
sent a bunch of those comics in to be graded. How much did that cost? I heard the price change with the value of the the price changes with the values, or
Oh,
the value of
yeah.
the book.
It's everything up to 1975 is considered. So in 1975 and now is all considered modern. So that's a certain price, like $24 a book. Anything
Okay.
older than that, so like most of your Silver Age is going to be more than you get in the Gold, and then it's like if you have an Amazing Fantasy 15 you're sending in, you can't put that down and be like, oh, it's only worth $100. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you have to insure it for a lot of money because it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And no, most of those, if not all of those, are fast tracked. So you're paying the fast track them and get them back in like a week. So
Oh,
those are,
wow.
yeah. And so, and some of mine, so those books that I sent in that I did that video on, so that was a year and a half ago. And some of them I had CCS press because I wanted a higher grade out of them to flip, and that adds an extra $20, I think, to the grading. So
For $20 per book.
yeah,
Okay.
and it takes longer, so a few more weeks. It was several $100. I remember it's been a while.
I was gonna say most of the because I've looked into grading before as well, and most of the time, if I'm looking at CGC, you're looking at a minimum, like, because I think it's like the more books you send in, the a little bit, like, they package them all. I think it's like 25 books you can
Mm-hmm.
send at a time.
25.
And so, yeah, so you want to try and send 25 so you don't have to ship a lot out. So I tried to do 25 modern books, and it was still 100, $200 or something. So it's pricey to get your books graded, for sure.
It ain't cheap. It's an investment, and it's one of those you have to think about it. If you're planning on reselling it, you have to go with CGC. Is CGC
Yeah.
the best option? You can talk blue in the face to which is better, CGC, CBCS, PGX, ESG, whatever the fuck else there is. It's like people are like, no, CGC is better. It's like, see, the market has dictated CGC books are just more valuable.
Yeah.
Do I think that CBCS has a better slab? Yes. I think it's sturdier. I think they do a better job quality control wise of how your book looks. You have that Wolverine one above you, that Frank Miller above you. The slab I got back, it has a hair in it.
Ugh, in the casing.
Like, yeah, in the casing, and I'm like, it took over a year to get it. Now what do? I can send it back. I can get pissed, wait even longer, or I can choose not to look at it and pretend it's not there.
No.
Or I could maybe find a way to possibly crack the slab and maybe just kind of like
grab some tweezers and just try and doink.
But CGC's known to do that. I'm sorry, it happened to CBCS too.
A lot of I almost called them onion rings. What are those things called? The Newton rings? Yeah.
I have my Spawn number 1, 9.4 newsstand signed by Todd. The Newton rings are fucking atrocious on it.
That bad, eh?
It's
just
that bad.
Cover the whole.
Fix it. I know you can fix it. There are ways you can like put a suction cup on it and kind of lift it. I haven't tried that yet, but yeah, Newton rings are really bad at CGC.
Well, Drew, I mean, your very own brother says, no, you want the PGX 11s. I mean, that sounds like that's where it's at.
If you can get it, they're stringent on their grading. I know they're probably the most strict out there. So if you can get a PGX 11.
Wait, there's not actually a PGX 11, is there?
No, and PGX don't exist anymore. But
so I was about to say
they're known to be like the worst grading company ever.
Yeah. Grading is going downhill in my opinion. Too many controversies and talk about acetate gate. Yeah, shit like that is how grading goes down the shitter quick. Same thing with whatnot buyers and whatnot sellers, and all types of different variant covers, and like it can get messy, especially in the speculator market. I just think that like you said, controversy and drama.
It is, and it's personal preference. People like CGC. People want to stick with CGC. People like CBCS. A lot of our slabs, they go through CBCS, and that's you got one sitting right here. So I mean, it's
very nice.
Their slabs, I think it's a better slab personally.
Oh, okay. Like more sturdy or more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't CGC has like a squeak kind of to their slab.
Yeah.
CBCS doesn't have that, and it's just a sturdier slab. Now, I think CGC does a better job. I think their slabs look better personally. But now again, it's aesthetics.
And like you said, I think the market has dictated, because I also like the aesthetic of CGC. I think it looks more pleasing on the eye. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just the color or the actual font of how they do the grade and the lettering. But I do appreciate it more so. But yeah, the market has also dictated that. So it's kind of like, if I wanted to sell one of these statues or something, and one is Sideshow or one is XM Studios or one is a custom, like that's all those who designed the statue, whether it's the better one or not, is going to determine, like a custom statue that looks shitty still probably will demand a higher price than a statue that's made by Sideshow that's just mass produced. But it's all preference. Like some people might want the custom one, but Truth Department says, thanks for the education on grading. I have so many questions.
No problem.
Yeah, you guys should definitely, over at Comics Elite, do some grading videos. I think people would probably get a kick out of it for sure.
And I put that together if you go back in the archives, I think you can find the video when I bought that collection and me looking through the books and saying what the grades are going to be. Now, I took pictures of all of them when I did that unboxing, but I think that video's up. It's back there in their old Rolodex, but
it's in there in the catacombs.
Yeah.
The catacombs of the Comics Elite YouTube channel.
You got to dust it off, but it's
back all the dust flies off. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I was gonna ask. Okay. So when you're grading, and we'll end on this because I know we're over 2 hours, but
took a tangent. Sorry.
No, you're fine, man. When you're grading, when you're sending your books in, you've got your golden era, your silver, your bronze, your modern. What's today's current era of comic books? Like, because modern has lasted for probably the past 4 decades, right? It's like from the 80s until now or something. So 3 decades, maybe.
Yeah.
We can't just call everything modern. I think like someone has to come in and like, or the comic book market has to dictate, okay, we'll call from the 80s to the 90s, like the Iron Age. And then now we're calling today modern or something like, I don't know.
Postmodern? I don't know.
Postmodern.
Terrible?
The terrible, terrible age. The terrible 2000s.
Hashtag all lives matter. I don't know. I don't know what you call it.
Hashtag unwanted violence.
There you go.
Call this era just unwanted violence.
It's unwanted. I think we should just call it unwanted.
Just unwanted
era.
The unwanted era. No one wanted this.
Because none of those books are being shipped to get slabbed anyway. So it's just unwanted.
From 2012, from like Marvel's all new, all different Marvel, like 2012, 2011 maybe, till now, the unwanted era.
Yeah. Or the MCU era.
Ugh. The dumpster fire era, says Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
The fanfic era. Interesting. I can see that. Yeah, I think Razor Fist and like a couple other guys were saying this could be the Iron Age or the Iron Era. I think for indie publishing, it could be the Iron Era. It's also odd because in the previous eras there weren't crowdfunding campaigns, there weren't a lot of indie books out there. The big two were pretty much dominating the market for the most part. So yeah, I don't know. It's difficult because if we are going to, acknowledge the other books within the market right now, it would be tough to really give it a name. Age of participation. I like
there you
that.
Go.
Here's your participation trophy.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Except for us who read the books. We don't win.
Yes. I feel like some weeks, this week, I feel like after what I just read, I'm not winning.
Well, we didn't even cover Miss Marvel. We didn't cover Black Panther. We didn't cover Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 17. We didn't cover X-Men something where it was just the validation issue. Like there are so many books that we didn't cover this week that were just god awful.
No one's talking about the Miss Marvel panel now. I think that is worse
than Joker.
Joker panel, personally.
The mosques giving itself pronouns.
Yeah. Yes.
I think, like you said, the Joker panel is it was perfectly made in a way that was like to troll. You know what I mean? Like it's one panel, it's shock value, it's ugly, it stands out. It was perfect for what it was, which was supposed to get people all riled up. And like you said, with the Mosque one, or we were talking about earlier with Spawn, no one's going to read that bullshit. And then same thing with the Mosque one. No one's going to want to read the actual story to understand the context. But I agree. I mean, like the mosque asking for the Muslim people to respect its pronouns.
Irony in and of itself, but
Yeah.
I just the utter stupid, like the lack of any. It's just like, really, like that's what we're doing here.
Yeah. Have some forethought. Have some and by the way, I think you guys had sent me some of those panels. I'm pretty sure I had said something to this effect of basically like if a white man had written this comic, it would be extremely offensive. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
It's true.
It just felt like perpetuating stereotypes.
Whereas
You
now,
know?
no, that's funny. Don't you get it? It's a joke. That's funny. It's like, well, what if I said that joke? Well, then it's not
Yeah.
funny. You can't
Right.
say that. You're a bigot. You hate everything. You're an asshole. It's like, well, yeah, those are true statements, but I think I should be able to make that joke too.
Yeah. Well, I am something of an asshole myself, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we asked everybody else's pronouns while we're at it with the mosque? It's like any other buildings.
Yeah.
I
Do you think? Yeah. Would a church, a Catholic church, would that one have pronouns or you know what? The Catholic Church would be a white supremacist church, but the mosque would be would ask for pronouns.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
It is such a level of stupidity that I don't know if I can get to.
Yeah. No. You almost like when you actually interact with people outside of like your Hollywood sphere of influence or something, or like when you actually talk to people who don't, live inside of Twitter, you realize that people can be intelligent, that people do have good ideas and people are for the most part, I feel like kind of normal. But yeah, so when you read these comics, they read like they're not human. You read like
Yeah.
who wrote this?
Yeah.
Like, who are you talking to?
We're talking about AI art, but maybe there's AI bots that are writing this stuff. We haven't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah.
I just think these people want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to be able to trout this stuff out and say, no, that was seen as a joke. You just don't get it, and you're just a bigot. Whereas if somebody else were to do it, how dare you? That's insensitive, you racist fuck. It's like, you can't put that in a comic book. It's like, well, what about over here? Well, that's different. That was a joke. You clearly didn't get it because it's not for you.
Oh. If it's not for you, one more time, no, yeah, I same thing with She-Hulk. So when She-Hulk came out, the big thing that they were pushing was most of the actresses and all the showrunners were like, this is feminist writing. We want to push a feminist agenda. We want this to be a feminist show. We want those themes to be relayed through the writing. So then I make a video and I go, this is feminist writing. This is a feminist show. Like, this is just, I'm not enjoying this. This is not for me. And then everyone goes, you can't, why would you call it feminist? That's not right. You can't call it that. I'm like, that's what they said though. Like,
They called it that.
They called it that. Where's the disconnect here? So it's interesting, like you said, how one thing, it's just a joke. You didn't get it, or they can say that, but you can't say that. It's very very telling of the type of moralistic values that people hold when something like that comes into play.
And they can always come back to, well, it's just a comic book. What's the big deal?
Oh my god.
It's a comic book. You make such a big deal about it.
It doesn't even matter, bro. Like, why are you getting so upset? It's like, oh, do you you
Well, I mean, they say the same thing. Why do you get so mad and tear up books? First off, it's because it pisses you off and you hate watch. Do you think that there's not some flair to why we do it? It's like, do you not understand how, showmanship works and anything else? Yes, part of it is. And another part is some of these are really that fucking terrible to where they need to be ripped because they are dog shit. And
they're offensive as shit.
Like, it just wasn't for me. It's just not very good. It's like, no, it fucking sucks. Batman Fortress coming out next week is fucking terrible. Right now, I wanted to tear that fucking book Well, I want to tear it up right now.
Is that the one that you're looking at? Yeah.
It's sitting over there. I'll if you want me to spoil it for you when we get off of here, I will tell you what happens. It is I cannot even begin to describe it. But
I can't wait.
Some books that need to be ripped, and these people need to be it's like you are putting out garbage.
Yeah. I think there are books that need to be ripped. It's the same thing as a YouTube thumbnail. It's the same thing as a YouTube title when it's like Disney disaster, Joker pregnant, blah blah. When you rip a book, it's impactful. People want to watch this. I mean, I want to watch that because for me, it's almost like I'm living vicariously through you guys. I can feel that rip, and I can go, I feel so much better now.
If you've read a book, if you've read comics long enough, you know there are books out there where it's like, I kind of want to rip this book. You've always been told, don't. It's sacrilege. Don't. Be careful with the book. Be careful. Massage it. It was
$4. Don't. Yeah.
It's a 9.8. It's pristine. It's perfect. No, you're gonna get that graded someday. It's like, no, this book sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah,
this book is terrible. But yeah, no.
Oh, Unwanted Violence is absolutely a ripper. MG, if I had that book with me, I would have ripped that thing. I would have burned it. I would burned it on stream live.
Sometimes I wish I did smoke, so I had a lighter and I could
just throw your cigarette on the comic. Yeah. Oh, that word isn't for me. Okay, thank you, Rachel.
I didn't know there were words that we couldn't. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
The more you know.
Yeah, we're being lectured to. We need to check our male privilege at the door and allow Dr. Rachel to. I love you, Dr. Rachel. Don't worry.
Thank you.
I'm just giving you a hard time. Thank you for
white male privilege is just all over everything, and I had no idea that I was so privileged in my life growing up.
Yeah, right. Like I didn't even realize it until someone told me. Now that someone told me, hey,
being raised by a single mom, raising 4 boys by herself, and I had no idea that I had so much privilege.
Yeah,
that I could have just done whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and how I wanted to do it. If only I would have known.
It's like that. It's like that Beavis and Butthead. There was a recent. It was either a movie or a show, but the teacher tells them they have white privilege, and so they go, "I didn't know that. Did you know that?" And they're like, "No, I didn't know that." So they like start enacting white privilege. So like they go to the cafeteria and they're like, "Hey, we have white privilege." So they just cut in line and then they're like, "Yeah, we get white privilege and you don't," or something like that. It was so funny. And they just think that that's like what it is.
That's what they make it sound like.
Yeah. Who doesn't want a feminist agenda in 2020 plus in men's superhero entertainment? And that's the thing, MG, like we are now in 2023 and it feels like it's almost ramping up. Like it feels like the comics are almost ramping up with some of the shit that they're putting out. And I know Gary has said this before on his channel. Things tend to get better before they get, or sorry, excuse me. Things tend to get worse before they get better. And I mean, I don't see anything good on the horizon. And Batman, Joker, World's Finest, Nemesis was good this week.
Again,
I don't know, man.
Look at the indie scene. The indie scene is where the good stuff is at. That's where you get the good horror. That's where you get the good sci-fi. You get the good action. Not all of it, but that seems to be where Drew and I are getting a lot of our recommendations from. It's a lot of the indie scene. And yes, DC has a few more time. I think Marvel is just in a absolute mess. Like they are just they're screwed, and it's a shame.
Real quick, Flaccid says, have you guys read Batman Last Night on Earth? It looks interesting, but I don't know with comics nowadays. Did you read that one? I don't remember.
Last Night on Earth.
Was that the one that was during DC Night's Dark Metal or whatever?
Yeah, was that the Snyder Capullo one?
I believe so.
Is that the one with the Joker head? I can't. I'm trying to think back.
I think it's this one.
Yep, I remember that cover. I never read it because I didn't.
Last Night on Earth. I did not read this one, Flaccid, unfortunately. Yeah, Snyder and Capullo.
Yeah, it was at a part where I'm like, I'm getting too much Snyder and Capullo, so I had to take a break.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. Capullo's classic Capullo Batman.
Yep.
Looks interesting. But no, I didn't read that one. Sorry, brother. I know you guys get all your comic book news, reviews, and comic book goodness from here and Comics Elite, but that is one that I have not read, unfortunately. So
Yeah, I never did.
Yeah, thank goodness us women are here to womansplain you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, my wife tells me all the time. It's fine.
It's not. Yeah, right. It's not for you boys unless you wear a T-shirt saying "This is what a feminist looks like." Or no, Jay. It has to be "Ask me about my feminist agenda."
Yes.
That's the shirt you need to wear. Yeah, it's sad, man. It's a bummer. And like we were saying before with that Spawn book, we have nothing wrong with people that want to portray some sort of social commentary or some sort of political message. I'm not saying it's for every book. It does not need to be put in every single comic book, nor should it. Like I don't think that that's right. But if you are going to do it, there's a subtlety, a nuance, a tactful way of doing that. And if you don't do it, it comes off as lazy, comes off as brutish, and just like unintelligent, uninformed. So yeah, it's unfortunate that a lot of these characters are being treated poorly, not just with the material, but also with how it's being portrayed. But
yeah, these legacy characters that have been a certain way for decades, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, actually they were never like that. You were wrong. It's like, huh? Okay, I guess I was wrong. They are gay.
Yeah.
Huh. You're right.
I got a comment on one of my first videos I made, like, oh my gosh, a year and a half ago. It was a hot minute. I was still like figuring out YouTube, so I did it from my phone. But it was basically about the Tim Drake Robin thing when they first announced that Tim Drake was going to be bisexual. And I was like, didn't Tim have like wasn't a lot of his stories weren't a lot of his stories focused on his relationship with a female? Didn't he already have relationships with a female prior to this? Like, I don't see how this is like it's ham-fisted, it feels forced. And someone commented on it like a month ago, and they were like, the fact that you can't see that Tim has been queer this entire time means that you're the problem. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So yeah, apparently we're the ones who haven't seen this happening for decades now, right?
Apparently. It's like, if you want more diversity, equity, and inclusion, and whatever other bullshit buzzword you want to throw in there, create your own characters.
Yeah.
You have unlimited. You can make whatever you want. You're supposed to have the top talent, the best people at DC and Marvel, best writers, best editors, best creators, best inkers, best artists. Create your own characters.
I think they are creating one right now. I think CBR put something out that's a trans individual who presents masculine. My head hurts already. Sorry, but
You're already pissing me off. I saw something about, is it Mark Wade putting something in Lazarus Planet?
I forget. Yes, I think it was Lazarus Planet. But regardless, I don't know if that's a new. I guess it's a new character. I guess you could call it a new character because he's going to be part of the Still Force, STILL.
Yes, that's right.
Instead of the Speed Force, so he's the exact opposite. So like, Flash is going to be like running around and like going through different multiverses, and he's just going to be like super still. I guess like he's mastered the
art of stillness.
Yeah, the art of like perfect stillness.
All right. Seems like a boring character.
So,
all right.
Hey, sure, I'm sure it'll be someone's favoritist, bestest character in the world, but
yep, somebody brought up Dreamer and the Still Force person. Just wait.
Oh yeah,
There's an issue next week involving Dreamweaver, and I swear to God, it is it's something.
It's something.
It is
It's something.
one for the books.
Yeah, literally one for the comic books. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You're what's wrong with the world. Apparently, Jay. Unfortunately, yeah, that's kind of what happens now. Well, we have passed our time by like 30 minutes. I normally try and keep these two about 2 hours, but I was just having way too much fun, man. So I appreciate you hanging out.
That's fun. Thanks.
No, of course. Next week, chat for you guys that are channel members and subscribers over here on the MVP channel for Max's Man Cave. Next week, I'll be over with the guys over at Comics Elite on their channel. So go subscribe to them, go follow them, and we'll probably do kind of a swap every other week. We'll come on 2 weeks from now and do books from there. Like I said, Drew couldn't make it unfortunately tonight, but we got what I won't say it, but you quoted, I believe, the Better Brother. Is that what?
Yeah, in fact, I think we did a poll.
Oh, there's a poll.
Yeah, there was a poll out there. Yeah.
Next time, chat, remind me to do a poll. The next time I have these two on here, and we'll do who's the better brother.
I'll come out ahead. It's all right. That's fine.
Or maybe who has the better takes. That's a good question too.
I wonder.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, once again, like I said, thank you for being here on the first installment. This was super fun, and I hope that we get to do more of these. If you guys have any suggestions or anything that you guys would like to see specifically, I think it'd be fun to maybe at the initial portion of the first segment do like any books or any cool comic stuff that we've picked up from the week, like kind of a show and tell, and then our best and worst of the week, and then going right into like looking at the actual books. But let me know in the comments or in the chat if you guys have anything that you would like to see in particular. So
sounds good.
But yeah. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will most likely see y'all for a Max's Man Cave build stream on Sunday. And yeah, like I said, have a great rest of the weekend. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.